that killed 6. The U.S. Justice Department says indictments announced yesterday are the result of a lengthy investigation by the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force and Chicago police. CPD showing reporters that training and a new use of force policy is already happening. AM 560's David Stewart was there.
Brass Thursday invited reporters to watch a session of the basic 4-hour training course that's based on the new policy that emphasizes the sanctity of life. First Deputy Superintendent Kevin Navarro says that by October 15th, all officers will have taken the basic course, developed in the wake of numerous high-profile police shootings over the past few years.
I've been a Chicago police officer for a long time, and I can tell you this is monumental. These officers are going to have use of force training every year, so it's fresh in their mind.
Next year, officers will be required to take 8 hours of training, and by 2021, 40 hours of training will be mandatory. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Drew Peterson will likely appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court after his 2012 murder conviction was upheld. The Illinois Supreme Court handing down that ruling yesterday. He currently serves 38 years in prison for that murder, the murder of Kathleen Savio. Chicago Democrat Kwame Raoul in hot water, and he just started his bid for Illinois Attorney General. Apology number 1 for our Raoul yesterday, dismissively mentioning Republican candidate for Attorney General Erica Harold as Miss America. Harold won the crown in 2003, but is also a highly qualified lawyer and former candidate for Congress. Raoul saying last week he thought Lisa Madigan would have done well against, quote, Miss America, end quote. Raoul yesterday saying it was just a bad characterization. A judge wants a psychiatrist to take a look at the student accused of pulling a gun and firing inside Mattoon High School this week. The judge issued that order for a mental exam. The suspect being tried in juvenile court will not be identified. Mattoon school leaders praising PE teacher Angie McQueen, who they say grabbed the shooter's arm and helped bring him to the ground. CPS Inspector General is leveling accusations against CEO Forrest Claypool of attempting to cover up a violation committed by the school district's top lawyer. The Inspector General, Nicholas Schuler, told the Chicago Board of Education that the General Counsel, Ronald Marmer, should not have supervised work his former law firm did for the school district while the firm was paying him a severance package. The IG says Claypool went to 7 lawyers to try to secure a legal opinion defending Marmer's conduct. Charges pending following a deadly shooting at an Arby's restaurant in Hickory Hills. An autopsy is scheduled today for the victim who has not yet been identified. A DuPage County jury awards $4.5 million to an Aurora woman injured when a metal door closer at a suburban Chicago bank branch detached and struck her in the head. Amy Skinger entered a Wells Fargo branch back in 2012 in Aurora when the closer detached and knocked her down. Wells Fargo spokesman Steve Carlson says the company is disappointed at the jury's finding and is reviewing legal options. And with a new city ordinance finally on the books, the VFW in Morris is going ahead with its $1 million raffle next Monday. But you no longer can buy a ticket. State regulators, you may recall, halted the drawing last month because the VFW Post didn't have a local license to run the game that's been running for decades. And then they couldn't get one because Morris banned nearly all gambling, including the raffle the veterans have been running, as we said, for decades. Then Morris aldermen passed a new ordinance paving a way for the VFW to go ahead. But now the VFW says no more tickets will be sold because the barrel holding the tickets is full. Winner gets 70% of the pot. It's grown to $1.6 million. Chris Bryant, 2-run home run in the top of the 10th. Cubs outlast the Brewers 5-3 to open a 4-game set in Milwaukee. White Sox avoid the 3-game sweep with a 3-1 win over the Astros in Houston. Blackhawks blast the Red Wings 6-1. Welcome back Brandon Saad. Hat trick for the Hawks. The news, a service of BakeryWork.com. Now hiring experienced maintenance mechanics needed to maintain and repair bakery machinery. Apply now. Positions open in Romeoville, Cicero, and Chicago. Competitive compensation and benefits packages Apply now at bakerywork.com. That's bakerywork.com. 5:08, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The biggest conservative event in Chicago is back. It's Freedom Summit 2017, and it's coming to the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca on Saturday, November 11th, and it's bigger than ever. This year, see best-selling author and filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza, along with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, Larry Elder, Joe Walsh, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Storelock.com.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call. A borrower called me after contacting the lender who boasts about having the lowest rates and closing costs because he thought my competitors' closing costs were excessively high. I compared loan estimates and the interest rates were identical, but our definitions of low closing costs were a lot different. Fact is, my closing costs were over $1,000 less than the lender claiming to have the lowest closing costs. When purchasing a home, you can either work with the lender who talks and talks and talks and talks about low closing costs, or you can work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think of all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when we originate your loan, like pay for the movers, buy a new computer, new TV, maybe new carpet for your new house.
I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Two strong banking teams have united to help you continue to grow your business with the same dedication and even more opportunities. And we have a new name. The private bank is now CIBC. The same team you know and trust now brings deeper resources, global banking reach, and the power to help your business seize new opportunities. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit us at cibc.com/US. Member FDIC.
5:10. Let's get an update on the early morning ride around town in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, the very latest, with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good Friday morning, Mike. Lots of overnight road work has cleared down the area expressways and tollways, and there was a lot of it, but the ramp closures, lane closures were in place, mostly gone. There's still some work on the outbound Ryan from 87th to the split with 3 left lanes. Par for the course of late. That's scheduled till 6 this morning. On the Kennedy, the express lanes should be opening shortly. They were closed for overnight maintenance. Those reversible lanes should open shortly again on the inbound side. Other expressways and tollways are looking pretty good right now. Starting today in Des Plaines, southbound Graceland will close. Thacker to Walnut for rail crossing work, though Lee will remain open on the northbound side. Lots of traffic issues on Sunday morning. Chicago Half Marathon and 5K. Closing Lakeshore Drive, 31st and Marquette. We also have a Bears game Sunday still. Heavy traffic in that area south of downtown. Traffic is a service at CiCi's. Want to taste the sauced and tossed flavors of CiCi's wings on your pizza? Now you can. New wing-inspired pizzas. Honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and buffalo chicken. Now on CiCi's buffet for just $5 and change. Prices may vary at participating locations for a limited time. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
I'll be watching that Bears game from the chilly living room, not outside at Soldier Field. It's going to be a Baker this weekend. 76 right now, and let's get an update on your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Heat wave through Sunday. Hot and humid day, mostly sunny with a high today of 94. Then turning out to be a clear night tonight. Humid with a low 71 and remaining humid for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine throughout the day, high 92. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
76 at O'Hare, 71 Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now. on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with hosts James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, you remember Pocahontas? She's one of the leading lights of the left.
Isn't she getting ready for a 2020 run? Or she's on the short list, I thought.
There's no such thing as a short list. There's like 24 people being rumored that are to run for president in 2020, Elizabeth Warren being one of them. Although she's no spring chicken.
No, how old is she? I forget.
She's mid-60s.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she wears it well.
There's no question.
I mean, listen, your calls on the hottest Democrats, 312-642-5600.
My vote still goes to Bernie Sanders.
Really? Yeah, he's a looker.
Populism is hot.
Yeah.
Especially if you mix it with a heavy dose of socialism.
Oh, I love socialism. Single-payer health care, yeah.
Elizabeth Warren was on a radio station this week, and she kind of got pinholed by WRKO host Jeff Cooner about.
His name is Jeff Cooner?
I think that's his name. I think that's how you pronounce
what
it.
What station is that?
WRKO in Boston.
Oh, okay.
This is not on the air, but in the hallway.
Uh-oh.
And
water cooler talk.
Cooner asked her, Pocahontas, Crocajawea, if you will, a legitimate question. You know, is there any hypocrisy, Senator? Is there any hypocrisy when you rail against the 1% as a category, and yet you are a member of that category? Listen to this fun exchange in the hallway over at WRKO in Boston.
Can I ask you one quick question? Uh-huh. You often say, and I agree with you, that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%. Yeah. But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when in a sense you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make it clear. I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military. That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher. There was not even enough money for an application to college, much less to be able to pay for college. Long and twisted story, I got married early.
And you made millions of dollars, correct?
Hold on. No, I ended up graduating. Hold on. I ended up graduating.
In Cambridge, do you not?
I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. And I became a special needs teacher. And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity. And I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
I know.
Those opportunities.
But you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
But you are a multimillionaire and you have a mansion in Cambridge, do you not? It's worth north of $2 million.
I had opportunities because America invested in kids like me, and that's the reason I'm in public office. It's so I can make sure that the next kid
but
and
you're
the
part
next
of the
kid,
1%,
what I
and
am
you
is
rail
I'm
against
part-
the 1%.
I
You
am
don't see the hypocrisy there?
It's not hypocrisy.
You're a multimillionaire.
What this is about is whether you believe in opportunity or not. I believe in opportunity, and it's what I fight
You mean
for.
the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
Yeah, is that the opportunity, Senator? Well, that's a fun little exchange.
That's great. I had no idea about the trials and tribulations of Elizabeth Warren. But
right.
Since when do you have to pay for an application for college? She acted like, well, I had to pay it. We couldn't afford to pay for an application.
Yeah, you pay for. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, there's a filing fee with application.
Oh.
Elizabeth Warren.
Maybe my high school just paid for it for me.
Maybe not to Iowa. Not to open enrollment schools like Iowa. I love the false Horatio Alger story too. I'm sure I'll
stipulate that her dad was a janitor, her mom was whatever, and she wanted.
She worked
to be a
at
school
Sears,
teacher.
Dan. Okay.
Yeah, she worked at Sears, and then she went on to make hundreds of thousands of dollars consulting for insurance companies and big banks, doing work for Wilmer Cutler, Pickering Hale, law firm representing Citigroup, J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs. That's how she made her money. And those are, of course, the institutions she rails against. She is a hypocrite. There's no question about it. And it's not that because she's in the 1%. It's because she categorizes her story as some uniquely American story. And by railing against the 1% and categorizing people by their household income for a particular year or even their net worth, so the wealth accumulated, you're saying, I have a legitimate story about how I came to have a $3 million mansion in Cambridge, and nobody else does. At least nobody else in these categories that I designate. That's why she's a hypocrite. In addition to, of course, her sinecure at Harvard, where she, faked her Native American heritage to get some minority designation on the faculty. It's a joke.
She didn't bring that up in the hallways.
Well, no, she didn't. The host
Maybe
was
because it's not true.
Well, the host was fixated on getting her to admit that she's part of the 1%, and she wouldn't even admit that. She
Right,
couldn't.
but she
couldn't
is.
label herself. She can label everybody else cheaply and say you're just a one-dimensional person that's based on your annual income or your net worth. You're in the 1% evil category. I'm in that category too, but I don't wear the label, and I'm exempt from all of the demagoguery that's directed at that group. In contrast to this, there was a good piece in the New York Sun this week about the Forbes 400 list, the Forbes, annual list of the wealthiest people in the world.
Oh, the wealthiest woman in the world died yesterday, Dan. So I'm sorry. She's off the market.
I'm sorry to hear that. Who is-
L'Oreal founder, and she was from France.
No.
$42 billion.
Oh, she had a good run.
You know what she did? She got swindled out of $100 million too, by the way, from some lover boy, some sugar baby. Okay.
Sugar
I mean,
baby.
she was the sugar mama, I should say.
Right, yes. But the New York Sun editorial about rich business people types.
Yeah.
And the story is about Malcolm Forbes, because this is the 100th anniversary of Forbes magazine this week. Malcolm became captain of Forbes, introduced, among other things, the Forbes 400 list. Steve Forbes relates that when his father first suggested such a list, his editors warned that it wasn't feasible. They feared it would inspire thieves and kidnappers. Malcolm Forbes plunged ahead. He invested enormous amounts of reporting in the list each year. It soon became an American institution inspiring millions. For it turns out that Americans don't resent successful businessmen and women. They admire them. They, too, want to be rich. A failure to appreciate this, in our opinion, is one of the blunders that caused Hillary Clinton to underestimate Donald Trump. The Democrats just couldn't see that one reason such huge crowds thronged to airport hangars to see Mr. Trump pull up in his gilded jetliner is that millions admire his success. They want to be like him. The Forbes 400 shows some of them can. The list has many regulars. Each year it drops some names and adds new ones. In point of fact, the 400 list included more than 1,200 people during its 25 years. So the idea of a upwardly mobile society, the idea of admiring people who grow rich by adding value to society, giving value to customers, or inventing something that has great value in the marketplace. And that's how most people grow rich. They're not the passive, sons and daughters of privilege that Elizabeth Warren otherwise characterizes all of them to be. I mean, except her, of course, with her I was born a poor Native American child. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what, another take that I took on what she was saying, that everything that she did in her early life, whether it's true or not, I really doubt it from that lady. But the fact of the matter was, everything was affordable. You could go to school for a decent price. I remember when I paid for my college, I worked for the summer and I was able to pay for it. You can't do that today, thanks to the liberal educators. And, I mean, even textbooks today are probably in the thousands of dollars when all they're doing is just changing one or two lines, but yet these kids have to buy new books. So she's so full of crap, this lady. Everything was affordable, and it was because of people like her. It is not.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed. It's a good point. I mean, because what she's talking about is everything that's government-centric, government-provided. And in point of fact, back, when at America's founding, when she was applying to colleges, you didn't have the government inflating the cost of college, for example. You didn't have the government inflating the cost of health care to the extent that occurs in 21st century America. So she wants to attribute all of her success, because she's a socialist as a politician, to government giving her opportunities, when in point of fact, it's been and somehow the corporation she consults for have prevented those same opportunities, when in point of fact, it's the government that she flacks for that has done so.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, the oppressive heat continues. It's like a blanket of heat wrapped around you when you step outside with that humidity. And we're going to set another record today, a high of 94 degrees. That shatters the record set back in 1937. Saturday and Sunday, both highs in the mid to lower 90s. And then on Monday, still, we could set a record set back in 1933 if we hit a high of 89 degrees. So enjoy your air conditioning. Now let's get into the very well air-conditioned Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's the boss, Jim Telemonte.
Good Friday morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. And you'll have some steamy traffic Sunday morning around Soldier Field and south of there. Bears having a noon start against the Steelers, and the Chicago Half Marathon will close Lakeshore Drive Sunday morning from 31st down to Marquette's. A lot of heavy traffic in that area. Right now, things are fairly normal. Inbound I-57 now, a little sluggish. Halstead to the merge. Same goes to Bishop Ford, starting at Cottage Grove. Inbound Ryan, a little heavy, 18th into downtown. Most of the overnight road work is gone on the expressways and tollways. We're not seeing any other delays right now. On the Kennedy, the express lanes have opened now on the inbound side. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that enhances what we do each morning on this show. A digital platform that has original long-form interviews with policymakers and opinion leaders. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program, which airs Sundays at 3 p.m. on these airwaves, covering state policy and politics. 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from me. 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes of the Illinois Opportunity Project. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, as well as Heart of the Matter, our new series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the salient issues of the day and their impact on household budgets and families. And then our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, defendhomeowners.com, free property tax reports on your home, contextual information about the property taxes you're paying, impact on your home value, the opportunity cost of how much home you could have bought if property taxes in Illinois were different than they are in our neighboring states, for example. You can find that at defendhomeowners.com and the rest of the original content at upstream-ideas.com.
Hello, everyone, and here we go again with Karen Lewis and the Chicago Teachers Union demanding more money from the Chicagoland taxpayers. Well, I say enough is enough. The teachers get paid from the property taxes that homeowners pay every year. If the teachers union gets more money, that means your property taxes are going to go higher. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent representative for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. For months now, I have been telling you about purchasing health savings account PPO plans that will cost you approximately 40% less in monthly premiums than you're currently paying now. Well, the same thing applies to the teachers union. I can show the union that they can purchase a more comprehensive health insurance plan that is in full compliance with the Affordable Care Act and will cost the taxpayers up to 40% less in monthly health insurance premiums. For more information, you can call me at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Join AM 560, The Answer, for the 37th Annual Northwest Suburban Republican Family Picnic, taking place this Sunday, September 24th at the Busse Woods Forest Preserve, Grove 7 in Elk Grove Village. Tickets are just $25 per family in advance at GOPpicnic.com. Ticket prices include food for the whole family, entrance into the bouncy house, face painting, and more. Visit GOPpicnic.com for all the details.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses, one that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The ladies in the Trump family reasserting themselves, in particular Ivanka, on with Dr. Oz yesterday. I hope he wasn't suckering her with those weight loss supplements. At 5:38.
And after being called a phony little creep, Brian Kilmeade responds to Jimmy Kimmel, and it's very classy. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
76 degrees. Just days ago that President Trump delivered this memorable line during his first address to the UN General Assembly.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea.
This morning, North Korea's foreign minister suggests that his country could detonate a hydrogen bomb in the Pacific Ocean to counter the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin touting new U.S. sanctions against North Korea.
The president, he signed an executive order that strengthened the U.S. government's ability to cut off funding to the North Korean regime and its weapons development program.
At a news briefing in New York, Mnuchin said sanctions go after any individuals or companies that enable North Korea's nuclear ambitions. Hurricane Maria remains a Category 3 storm. Top winds of 125 miles an hour after tearing through Puerto Rico this week. Officials in Mexico say this week's devastating earthquake flattened entire towns. And hope is fading that search and rescue teams will find more survivors in collapsed buildings. The death toll has climbed to around 280. There's some good news this morning for President Trump in the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. The president's job approval rating has ticked up to 43%, almost up 4 points from August. Record-breaking heat here in Chicago yesterday, and perhaps again today. Heat advisories are up. Authorities are investigating the deaths of two in West Suburban Stone Park, a mother and son, found dead inside a home overnight in the 1700 block of Mannheim Road. Chicago Democrat Kwame Raoul starting his bid for Attorney General with an apology. Raoul yesterday apologizing for being dismissive of Republican candidate Erica Harold, calling her Miss America. Harold won that crown in 2003, but is also an accomplished lawyer and former candidate for Congress. Raoul said last week he thought Lisa Madigan would have done well against, quote, Miss America, end quote. Raoul yesterday saying that was a bad characterization. And you may not know it, but Zillow uses tax information generated by places like Henry County, Illinois, to help people price homes in counties across the state. Now, online realtor Zillow is suing Henry County over the price of that county's tax information. Henry County is adopting an ordinance that charges $2,500 for tax information. Zillow, which uses tax information, as we said, to help people price homes in the state of Illinois and countrywide, said believes Illinois law caps that fee at $100, not $2,500. Chris Bryant, a two-run bomb in the top of the 10th, helping the Cubs beat the Brewers 5-3 to open up a four-game set in Milwaukee. Sox avoid a three-game sweep with a 3-1 win over the Astros, and then open up a set with the Royals later tonight. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. For more than 90 years, Napa Auto Parts has provided the quality parts and expertise to help you keep almost anything on the road. And now with Napa Rewards, you can help save money on all the parts you need to keep your car running. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher gets a bad feeling about the North Korea situation.
My instincts generally serve me pretty well.
I'm going to just tell you flat out.
I have a very bad feeling about what Kim Jong-un is up to. And it's on him. But I have a bad feeling about this little chubby, weird dictator of North Korea.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hi, Bill O'Reilly here. We Americans enjoy unprecedented freedom. But do you know how brutal the struggle was to achieve that freedom? Bet you don't. My new book, Killing England, describes in vivid detail the Revolutionary War against Great Britain, and what we put forth in the book might horrify you. George Washington, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson are all portrayed as real men, not myths. Killing England is a read you'll never forget.
Killing England, on sale now.
Does your basement or crawl space have damp, musty odors? Do you worry about indoor gases and pollutants? Everyday living generates moisture that can nourish mold and odors, even asthmatic triggers. Indoor pollutants linked to respiratory ailments, birth defects, and cancers can become trapped in your home. You can't buy health, but you can buy Wave's moisture control and air quality products. Wave Home Solutions for a dry, healthy home. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to dryhome123.com. That's dryhome123.com.
5:36 and a check of the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy Expressway, traffic is moving well. The express lanes are now open inbound after they were closed for overnight work. Edens is fine. Inbound Eisenhower, a little heavy now, 25th Avenue to 17th. 30 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. On Stevenson, delays start at Cicero, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's fine. On Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the Verge, Bishop 420. Tri-State has some road work, but no delays at the moment. The other tollways are clear. No problems to report in Northwest Indiana. In Highwood, Green Bay Road is closed. In Highwood Avenue in Washington, the Highwood Starving Artist Show this weekend. Traffic service of CC's. Want to taste the sauced and tossed flavors of CC's wings on your pizza? Now you can. New wing-inspired pizzas with honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and buffalo chicken. Now at CC's Buffet for just $5 and change. Prices may vary at participating locations for a limited time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Sunny, record-breaking heat. Very humid as well. High 94. Warm and humid, 71 overnight. And more hot and humid temperatures tomorrow with a high of 92. Currently 76. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Ivanka, we haven't heard or seen a lot of Ivanka or Jared lately either. I mean, not heard from Jared because he doesn't really speak, but seen him around. I got a sense that General Kelly has tightened the reins on the surrogates in addition to what's going on with the president. Sort of a new discipline in the White House, and I think you see some of that playing out.
Yeah, last time we heard from her, she went into that meeting in the Oval Office with the Democratic House leaders and Senate leaders, and she was talking about tax cuts for child care. And they kind of looked at her funny, and that was the last I've heard from her.
Well, she was on with Dr. Oz yesterday.
Oh, were they working it out?
And yeah, I know.
Her new role? What were they discussing?
I mean, I know she's been on Dr. Oz's show before. I guess maybe why Dr. Oz? You think, and maybe it's a friendly space. Maybe it's the audience demographics. And Oz asked her if she'd like to try these weight supplements. No. Dietary weight loss.
No, he did
supplements. Not. No, of course not. Didn't he get into hot water over flacking for quackery and products that are dubious in their effectiveness?
Mm-hmm. But remember, too, Dr. Oz is where President Trump, then candidate Trump, revealed his physical.
Donald Trump is here. I view this as, in a way, going to see my doctor. A no-holds-barred conversation.
Everyone's talking about the candidate's medical records.
When you're running for president, you have an obligation to be healthy. Is he fit to be president?
Let's talk about stamina. At age 70, you'll be the oldest person to ever enter the Oval Office.
And the moment no one expected.
Why not share your medical records?
I have it right here. I mean, should I do it? I don't care. All new Oz.
Isn't that great? Remember that?
And
should I do it? I have the medical records here. Do you guys want to see it?
And does anybody now wonder why some of Dr. Oz's colleagues in the medical profession don't treat Dr. Oz particularly seriously as a doctor? Oh boy!
Coming soon, medical records revealed. Come on,
and
is he healthy?
Gone mad, Dr. Oz. So here's what Ivanka had to say, Dr. Oz probing her.
Oh, my gosh, I can't wait to hear
Not
this.
in a medical sense.
Yeah, please, Dan, don't use the word probe. I hate that word.
In an interviewee sense, about her influence on her father and whether she feels a responsibility to be a moderating influence on Donald Trump, which, of course, is kind of a loaded premise to a question. Here's Ivanka.
There are some who create a narrative that you should be a voice of moderation. But how do you respond to that expectation?
Well, I think that my role, and anyone who works for the President of the United States, their role is to inform, advise, and then ultimately execute. So I'm not the decision maker. I have my views and I share them candidly, and as a daughter, I have the latitude to do that. But I also respect the process that my father is now president, and the American people elected him based on his agenda. And my job isn't to undermine that agenda. It's to embrace the areas where there's commonality, and there are so many areas. I'm deeply passionate about fueling the growth of women entrepreneurs. I'm deeply passionate about supporting American working families. So I feel privileged that he's given me the platform to push areas and push issues that are aligned with his agenda. Where I disagree with the agenda, I'll share it with him quietly, but I don't view it as my obligation to moderate. And I don't think anyone working for a sitting president should see themselves in that capacity.
I don't know what it
I
is.
go to my happy place when she talks.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. Is it the timbre of her voice? I was thinking about whether I'll have time to hit balls before I play golf today. While she was talking, I
was thinking about my lineup tonight, who I should start and who I shouldn't for volleyball.
I just kind of lose focus. It's so soothing. I just kind of
I feel like I've
daydream.
I think I just got hypnotized. Don't you? I mean, if she's talking. It's like Melania and the Party Animals. When she talks, it's like this.
No, that's not the same thing because Melania gets my attention. Ivanka, and I'm not saying that Ivanka.
She's just brilliant. She's smart. She's poised.
Stretch,
okay, but she's poised and she can hold her own. But whenever she talks, you're right.
It's the
I go somewhere else. I don't know
something
what
in the way that I don't know if it's the tonality or what. Anyway,
so what did she just say?
The bottom line takeaway is that she's trying to find intersection points to work with her father where those opportunities are provided, and she also respects that he's the president, and she's not a shadow president. She's just one of many influencers, and she's limited to particular areas where she has a passion, as she described. Okay, so fine. That's fine. Now, on the other hand, Melania being treated in a way that she didn't appreciate, these billboards in Croatia.
Oh, yeah. She
part of a marketing campaign by an English language school in Zagreb to persuade Croats to learn English by reminding them of the Slovenian-born First Lady.
It says, just imagine how far you can go with a little bit of English. But she doesn't like the use of her image without her approval because apparently in her native Slovenia, they have her image on, are you ready, Dan?
Yeah.
Underwear? Some Melania
briefs.
Underwear, cakes at the bakery, and other tourism little trinkets. They have her picture everywhere, and she does not like the use of her image without her approval. So she has an attorney in Slovenia. You don't want to see that guy. And he's trying to put an end to all this. They agreed.
No, he did put an end to it.
Yeah, he did put it. Well, for the billboards, yes, he put an end to it. But he's also trying to control, these trinkets that are being sold, keychains, and again the underwear and T-shirts with her picture on it because they want to protect her image.
Well, that's good because if I buy Melania briefs, I don't want some knockoff.
Party animals.
You know what I mean?
Oh, they could be called the party animals.
I'll show you a party animal.
I got a party animal in my pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's so bad.
I wonder if that's the tagline.
Did you see the men's cotton briefs? Oh, sorry.
Not
too soon.
The Melania men's cotton brief?
Yeah.
I haven't.
I'll get you a picture. Her picture doesn't look too well on the woman's thong, by the way.
Like Tabitha Soren? Boxers or briefs, Mr. President? David in St. Louis, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, yeah. Hey, morning. I'm trying to remember if it was before the inauguration but after the election or if it was after the inauguration. But when Jared and Ivanka were pretty well clearly doing business in the White House, they swore that they were not going to be taking part, that there was going to be this separation between dad and business and the kids in business. And so now when she's admitting that she's, clearly taking part in the decisions of America, she's saying my job. She has no job. There's no title. She's not getting paid. So she's basically, this is a fraud. And it's an enormous fraud.
Well, how is it a fraud when it's being disclosed, number one, and number two, she's a daughter who has written op-eds on these topics that she mentioned about daycare and other issues, women entrepreneurship. And so as the daughter of the president, she's transparently engaged on those issues. How is that fraudulent?
Well, I mean, you can pick some, a mom and apple pie issue, but when it comes down to whether or not there are business relationships between, do you remember trademark? Trump went over to China, and his trademark was something like 82 trademark issues. They're going to make $1 million or more per trademark. The idea that they're selling green cards, they're doing an enormous amount of corrupt activity, in the White House. She's got an office in there, right? So if she doesn't have a job title, and she's got an office in the White House, she's a welfare mooch, taking government property and milking it for her own benefit, and making millions, not hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands. They're making millions.
Yeah.
Well, she was in the first
with China alone was worth hundreds of millions.
Yeah, thanks for the call, David.
She was in, just so you know, she was in the First Lady's office until Melania moved in.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if she has an office right
Jared has been like a senior advisor to the president, also unpaid. So here's, David, talking about Ivanka having a presence in the White House is a welfare mooch using government property to make millions. You have to connect those dots, my friend. In terms of if President Trump or the Trump family is leveraging public policy for private gain, like you're talking about prosecuting China for specific trademarks that relate to family business interests, well, that's an issue. That would be an issue. I'd like to see those dots connected, though. So the separation is for the other children, like Eric, who have no role and left and stayed out to run the various businesses that the Trump family controls. So the whole kind of emoluments arguments and corruption arguments that you're making, those dots have not at all been connected, and they certainly have nothing to do with Ivanka taking a position on, even though I disagree with it, on federal support for daycare provision and other issues that she has opined upon. What I don't get how that is corrupt in any way. I don't see the material benefit, the pecuniary benefit that she is deriving from taking public positions on policy issues that are hotly debated. Am I missing something?
No, you're not.
Okay, good.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, protect your firearms and valuables in the best. A Liberty Safe from Maxson Shooter's Supply. Maxson is Illinois' largest Liberty Safe dealer and stocks the complete line of Liberty Safes the best money can buy. Not in stock? Maxson will order it. You can pick it up at Maxson or have it delivered and installed almost anywhere in your home. And for a limited time, Liberty is offering interest-free financing for qualified customers. Owning a Liberty Safe has never been so easy. No money down and 0% financing for year one. Hey, visit LibertySafe.com for details. For over 25 years, millions of American homes have trusted Liberty Safes to protect their guns, keep them out of reach of children, and protect their valuables from theft and fire. Liberty stands behind every safe with a lifetime warranty. If anyone tries to break into your Liberty Safe, they'll repair or replace it for free. Hey, choose the best. Trust a Liberty Safe from Maxson Shooter Supply in Des Plaines. Visit MAXONshooters.com or shop online at libertysafe.com.
One size fits all has no place in your bedroom. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of Helix Sleep, and we know one mattress can't work for everyone. That's why we created the only mattress built for you. Go to helixsleep.com, take our 2-minute sleep quiz, and we'll build your custom mattress and ship it to you for free. Try it for 100 nights, and if it's not the best sleep you've ever had, we'll pick it up and give you your money back. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio right now, and we'll give you $50 towards your custom mattress. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
Finding great people to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Tired of it? It's time to try ZipRecruiter, where 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within 1 day. How? Using powerful technology, ZipRecruiter matches your job to the right candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
When was the last time you thought about the HVAC system that works 24/7 to keep you comfortable and in business? One of the most important, yet overlooked aspects of life in the 21st century is reliable climate control for both people and product. It's one of the many things we take for granted. We'll be warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Then there's a failure or utility bill that's sky high. Avoid unpleasant surprises with your indoor comfort. For repairs and preventative maintenance on your commercial and industrial HVAC systems, call EHMS Mechanical Services. The equipment that maintains the environment you work in and supports the products you make is so important. When it fails, you'll need EHMS Mechanical Services, one of the fastest response commercial HVAC companies in Chicagoland. Help lower the overall cost of your HVAC equipment with comprehensive maintenance programs, energy-reducing retrofits, and rapid response service from EHMS Mechanical Services. Call 847-801-1000 or lovemyhvac.com. Have you ever considered opening your own business? Have you ever wondered whether you had what it takes to be an entrepreneur? If you have the ambition and a sense of humor, you should pick up a copy of Who Wants to Be a Business-Heir. Unlike many of the how-to books about opening a new business, Who Wants to Be a Business-Heir is about what it feels like to be in business. It's about what aspiring entrepreneurs can expect to face in their new business and the issues that they need to consider. Written by attorney Scott Annis, with more than 25 years of experience in assisting small businesses, Who Wants to Be a Business-Heir offers some old-fashioned homespun advice, often told with clever and amusing anecdotes. It might make you laugh, it could make you cry, and it'll definitely make you think. If starting a new business has been on your mind, pick up a copy of Who Wants to Be a Business-Heir. That's spelled BUSINESSAIRE. It's available on Amazon or at thatbizlawyer.com. Pick up a copy of attorney Scott Annis's book, Who Wants to Be a Business-Heir, today.
Whether you like it or not, winter is right around the corner. As the leaves start to turn, you may be wondering if the vehicle you depend on every day to take the kids to school, run errands, and get to work is prepared to handle another Chicagoland winter. Don't worry, Joe Cotton Ford has you covered during their Ford SUV sales event. Now through September 30th, you'll save thousands when you select from hundreds of in-stock new Ford SUVs and crossovers. As one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland, the team at Joe Cotton Ford has been working with generations of Ford buyers and their families. They'll offer you a different car buying experience. In fact, your satisfaction is their top priority. And remember, Joe Cotton Ford is open in both sales and service. They service all vehicles, even on Saturday. It's easy. Schedule your service appointment now at joecottonford.com. Get to Joe Cotton Ford today and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV. Gary and North Avenue and Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around, signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
5:57. Let's get an update on the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Seeing some slow pockets on the inbound Kennedy Expressway out of the River Road Toll to Canfield, it's slow, and then also from Foster to Central. 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound Fond at 20. All clear on the Edens for now. On Eisenhower, it's slow, 25th Avenue to 9th Avenue. 32 minutes, Thorndale to the post office downtown, outbound Fond at 29. On Stevenson, delays start at Harlem, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound Fond at 34. On Ryan, stop and go 31st into downtown, 22 minutes from 95th in the Blue, outbound it's clear. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishopport 23. Lakeshore Drive is good, northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, eastbound Adams Tollway, little heavy approach to Kennedy. Northwest Indiana's fine. Traffic service of Staples. Staples helps your business create color presentations for less. Now get 20% back in Staples rewards on color copies, manuals, and presentations that are designed to impress. Staples, it's pro time. Offer ends 11/4/17. Exclusions apply. Go to staples.com/20color for more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. We get that from meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
The heat wave will continue through Sunday. Today, mostly sunny, hot, and humid. High 94. Clear, very warm and humid tonight, low 71. Sunshine for tomorrow, humid still with a high 92. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
75 at O'Hare. The news, a service of Experian. Think data breaches only affect companies? Think again. It could be your data being sold on the dark web. See if you're at risk with a free dark web email scan only from Experian. Costs nothing and could help keep your identity yours. Start now, free at Experian.com/scan. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following this morning. On AM 560, The Answer, Chicago continues to experience record-breaking heat. Yesterday's high temp of 94 broke a record set back in 1970. Drew Peterson will likely appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court after his 2012 murder conviction was upheld yesterday by the Illinois Supreme Court. Charges pending following a deadly confrontation at a southwest suburban Arby's restaurant in Hickory Hills. Northern Illinois University's acting president will request a 3% salary hike for university employees. Cubs outlast the Brewers 5-3. Sox avoid the sweep with a 3-1 win. WIND Chicago News Time 6.
What's a dotard? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. North Korea's leader says it's President Trump. An insult Kim Jong-un used twice in a statement, which means a senile old person. It's a response to the president calling him Rocket Man, threatening his country at the UN. Fox's Tanya J. Powers live in New York.
Dave, Kim's statement also called the president deranged and vowed that he would, quote, pay dearly for his threat to destroy North Korea and that he's unfit to hold the prerogative of supreme command of a country. He also said the president is, quote, a rogue and a gangster fond of playing with fire. It's notable because it's a first-person statement. South Korean media says it's the first such direct address to the world by Kim Jong-un. President Trump tweeted this morning calling Kim Jong-un a madman who doesn't mind starving or killing his people and that he will be tested like never before, Dave.
And Tanya, North Korea has also warned of a possible hydrogen bomb test in the Pacific. This after President Trump targeted North Korea's finances.
A new executive order will cut off sources of revenue that fund North Korea's efforts to develop the deadliest weapons known to humankind.
It also allows the U.S. to freeze assets of anyone conducting significant trade with North Korea. The president has also just tweeted the Russia hoax continues. Now it's ads on Facebook. The social media giant says it'll give Congress political ads during the 2016 campaign bought that are now linked to Russia. It's now up to 273 people dead in earthquake-damaged Mexico.
In hard-hit Mexico City alone, more than 50 buildings have now collapsed, and more in surrounding states, with at least 1,700 homes declared uninhabitable. Thousands are now homeless.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Several survivors were pulled out alive yesterday, but the story of a little girl supposedly trapped in the ruins of her school, heard talking and given water, turned out to be false. Hurricane Maria now moving dangerously close to Turks and Caicos as Puerto Rico remains dark. Some could be without power there for weeks and months with widespread damage from Maria. Fox News, fair and balanced.
See filmmaker and the best-selling author of Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza, on Saturday, November 11th at Freedom Summit 2017 at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. He'll be appearing with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Also appearing, radio talk show host Larry Elder, Joe Walsh, Dan Proft, and Amy Jacobson. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So let's do a little separation of fact from liberal hyperventilation on Graham Cassidy. You want your member of Congress to vote for Graham Cassidy? I mean, I know we're starting in the Senate, and I know in Illinois you got two locked-in no votes in Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth.
Yeah, they're not budging.
But, let's just say we lived in a state with good U.S. senators.
We're going to play pretend?
Yeah, one thing we could do, we could just defer this conversation to our friends and listening audience in Indiana and Wisconsin.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have senators that are
must be nice, huh?
Relevant.
Show-offs.
But I mean, in the House, too, is this something as a member of Congress, put it this way, if you were a member of Congress, would you vote yes on the Graham Cassidy Obamacare replace in sort of quotation marks, but there are replacement features as well as retention features, admittedly. But on balance, this is going to be the choice. It is this or you get nothing. That's how it's going to go down. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And it appears that it's going to come down to Lisa Murkowski, the Republican senator from Alaska. Good piece by Kim Strassel, Wall Street Journal. The no votes from the GOP, remember, they can only afford two because this will be a straight party line vote. The no votes are likely to be Rand Paul. This is Kim Strassel's description. Rand Paul, who never votes for anything that might actually pass, and Maine's Susan Collins, who's always disappointed by Republican bills. It's kind of funny, actually. She says that McCain, who spoiled the Summers attempt at Obamacare repeal, seems unlikely to repeat the performance and sandbag his BFF, Lindsey Graham, the co-author of the bill. Although not everybody's convinced of that. Pennsylvania Democrat Rep Matt Cartwright had a town hall he had a town hall to bury John McCain, not to praise him. Listen to Matt Cartwright handicapping the Senate vote on Graham Cassidy and specifically John McCain as the poison pill.
McCain I'm worried about. Also because the governor of Arizona came out in favor of the Lindsey Graham, Bill Cassidy bill. So that puts pressure on McCain. But man, something tells me McCain, he's staring death in the face right now. So he's probably going to make good choices. He's not going to bend the political pressure.
McCain is staring death in the face right now, so he's probably going to make good choices, meaning he'll vote against Graham Cassidy. Wow.
Okay, well, that's kind of what Senator Johnson said here on this very station when we had him on.
And he apologized.
Yes, he apologized profusely for what he said, but saying the basic, he changed his mind because he's not feeling well because of, the tumor that he has. So, wow, that's a little aggressive.
I'd say. And the Wall Street Journal has a good editorial on this about the left-wing panic. They write in part, the irony is that even as critics say they know little about the bill, these progressive groups are pumping out black box estimates of what would happen. For example, alleging that the states will lose $4 trillion in funding over the next 2 decades. Wall Street Journal distills that sounds bad, except the study assumes no state block grants past 2026 because Congress would have to reauthorize funding. That's right. The report, much like late-night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, equates renewing an appropriation with zeroing out an account, as if Congress doesn't periodically approve funding for everything from children's health care to highway spending. Right. It's total flimflammery is the point, and hyperventilation. Jimmy Kimmel style.
Well, Senator Graham was on with Brett Baer yesterday, and he said that a couple of Democrats are going to jump on board and vote for this plan.
That doesn't sound like it is going to be the case at this point. When you have Kim Strassel saying it all comes down to Lisa Murkowski.
Oh, Lisa.
And the interesting thing about her analysis, she makes a couple of really good points, as she often does. Kim Strassel is one of those must-read columnists out there. If she votes it down, then she votes down the interests of her state. Alaska has been hit harder than any other state. Health insurance premiums have soared more than 200%.
What?
Now the highest in the country. Murkowski State. All but one insurer has fled the state's individual market. People are dropping policies. Doctors are refusing to take the flood of new Medicaid patients. So, there was much talk before about Arizona's premium spikes.
Yeah, being high, but
Alaska's triple digits. But
huge.
This is double what's happened in Arizona. So I assume Alaskans are watching. The other point, and this is a sort of a below the fold point, but it's a relevant political one that Strassel makes. Alaska lives and dies on federal largesse. It routinely tops the list of federal funding per capita, billions in annual federal grants, billions more in defense spending, and a lot of it is discretionary. The Denali Commission, its Essential Air Force, which subsidizes flights to rural Alaska, its grants for weatherization, village water projects, salmon recovery, wildlife refugee payments, not to mention bridges to nowhere, upgrades for military bases. So there's a lot riding on this vote, potentially, for Lisa Murkowski, if she would be the vote that kills it.
And one part that's important to a lot of people, if you have a pre-existing condition, can you get health insurance? And yesterday, Vice President Mike Pence was on with Fox and Friends and didn't really answer the question.
Can you guarantee that these governors will make sure pre-existing conditions are covered?
Thomas Jefferson said, government that governs least governs best. I mean, the question that people ought to ask is, who do you think will be more responsive to the health care needs in your community? Your governor and your state legislature, or a congressman and a president in a far-off nation's capital?
Yeah, there's a provision in there to protect people with pre-existing conditions, which was in the previous iteration of replace. This is more hyperventilation and silliness. There's also concerns going the other way that states will take the block grant money to set up single payer.
Right.
And we talked to Ramesh Panaru about that yesterday because he had expressed that concern. But I mean, if you look at the dollars as compared to the cost that single payer throws off, there aren't the dollars to finance it. So if states want to engage in more budget busting through their Medicaid program to try and get more people on Medicaid, like Illinois has done for the last 15 years. First Blagojevich, then Quinn's Medicaid expansion under Obamacare, and then Rauner's refusal to roll it back. So it's continuing to track up to nearly 1 in 3 Illinoisans, which is totally unsustainable. You want to try that? Okay, well then destroy your state's finances. And to Mike Pence's point, hey, we have 50 laboratories of democracy, and we got a couple meth labs. And if you want to be a meth lab, you can be a meth lab. If you want to be a laboratory that produces products and government that enhances the lives of your residents, then you can do that too. Tom in Cherville, Indiana, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey,
Yes.
Hey, Tom.
Yes, Todd Young is a definite yes. He's my Senator Todd Young, and then I believe Donnelly is a no. Although I think Donnelly could go yes, depending because of the state he's in, and he's up for re-election next year.
That's right.
And his approval rating is like in the low 40s, so maybe they can work on him.
Yeah. No, thanks for the call, Tom. That's right. Joe Donnelly is one of those targeted for de-election by Republicans. By the way, listen to this reporting in the New York Times. This is what the New York Times calls reporting on this topic. I'm quoting the New York Times. Republican senators from Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Ohio, and West Virginia will all have to decide whether to heed the pleas of consumers who like the current health law or yield to the will of Republican leaders, donors, and voters who demand an end to the Affordable Care Act. That's how they characterize the choice, as if it's only GOP donors that oppose Obamacare. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I know what the Republicans proposed over the summer wasn't received well because it was carved up by the D.C. press corps, and Republicans did a poor job messaging it. And to some extent, this is they're trying to do the same thing to Graham Cassidy. But Obamacare's never been popular. And it's not popular, because
it's never worked.
People in Alaska have seen their premiums increase 200% and their choices limited. So that's not something that's going to generate a lot of popularity. It may push people who, lead with sentiment rather than thought to single payer, the government can just take care of it. But I mean, the idea that that's the choice, that's the binary, as the New York Times presents, and that's reporting. But I mean, the New York Times plays it straight. They're not, left-wing cranks pushing a narrative. No, of course not. Casper in West Chicago. You're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, amigo. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Casper.
My opinion is that it was wrong when the Democrats passed this bill in the Obamacare, and it will be wrong if the Republicans take this for their own hands. We need a long-term plan. We don't need fixed solutions just in the partisan way. And I think it's wrong to do this like that. I think we need a long plan, and we need to trust what we will do in the future.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Casper. Appreciate that. Speaking of bipartisanship, just picking up on Casper's point.
Yeah.
Well, this was a proposal, the devolution of some of the responsibility or more of the responsibility to the states, which is a centerpiece of Graham Cassidy. You know who supported that once upon a time?
Who?
In 2007, Lindsey Graham and Wisconsin Democrat Russ Feingold proposed the state-based Health Reform Act that would have given states even more freedom than Graham Cassidy. But as the Wall Street Journal observes, these days Democrats fear that state laboratories would discredit the command and control approach to health care that they hope will lead to single payer. So the effort for bipartisanship and genuflecting before the altar of bipartisanship, which somehow is supposed to be better necessarily. First of all, I disagree with the premise. I think it's kindergarten. But secondly, you can't achieve bipartisanship or a deal with erstwhile adversaries if there's not negotiation in good faith, right? Lamar Alexander tried to work with Patty Murray on the topic, Republican, Democrat. There were hearings, meetings, again, at Wall Street Journal reporting. This week, Mr. Alexander pulled the plug because he hadn't found the necessary consensus. So there's efforts made, but if you can't get good faith, then it's difficult to strike a deal. And so everybody votes their shares. That's how it actually works, Casper, in the adult world.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, he was called a phony little creep, but Brian Kilmeade from Fox and Friends has a great response to Jimmy Kimmel. But first, here's your forecast today. Plenty of sunshine and record-breaking heat and humidity. A high today of 94 degrees. And that heat and humidity is going to continue through the weekend. Saturday, a high of 92. On Sunday for the Bears-Steelers game, that's going to be fun. We're going to have a high of 91 degrees. And also the Chicago Half Marathon is taking place that day. And on Monday, yes, it will be warm as well, a high of 90. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Traffic Center where the AC is on. The man's in charge, and the man is Jim Telemonte.
Well, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Northbound I-65. Got delays this morning. 53rd Avenue to Ridge Road. There's a stall blocking the center lane there. The Edens is still good. Kennedy inbound heavy from the River Road toll to Central. 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 20. On Eisenhower delays start at Manheim. 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound okay. The Rhine, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the Verge. Bishop 424. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
After your choice of spouse, where you send your kids to school is the most important decision you make. So I'm excited to tell you about Northridge Preparatory School, an independent Catholic school for boys, grades 6 through 12. There's no brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. Northridge Prep instills the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm. It's a good place to be a boy. I'm impressed by the men who teach there. They're great role models, as well as accomplished academics, and they get to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Northridge Prep grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, have top athletics and arts programs, and are ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois and a top 100 high school in America, according to U.S. News. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on October 22nd. To learn more about their October 22nd open house, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've had 10 major surgeries, including 3 brain surgeries. And I have extreme rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I wanted to let him know that his Balance of Nature have helped boost my immune system so much because I'm on injectable medications for the rheumatoid, and they bring down your immune system. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I haven't gotten a cold, nothing. It really helped me tremendously.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus Procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus Procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook has agreed to turn over 52 ads that they have identified as Russian-linked. 52 ads on the Facebook's platform.
How could they have let that happen? Who's mining the store?
I care deeply about the democratic process and protecting its integrity, said Mark Zuckerberg. He didn't want anyone to use our tools to undermine democracy. That's not what we stand for.
Oh, so Facebook is really the fake news.
Well, Facebook is the great protector of democracy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, boy, this would have to be, as James Freeman points out in Best of the Web, this would have to be the most successful marketing campaign in the history of the world if Russia undermined the election by spending $150,000 on the 52 ads on the Facebook platform that have been identified.
And Facebook's going to give Congress copies of 3,000 ads bought by Russian accounts. So, okay.
Yeah. Political ad spending hit a record of $10 billion, despite Trump dropping $340 million less than his predecessor. The Clinton campaign spent about $1.1 billion on ads. So, in other words, the spending on fake Russian political ads identified by Facebook amounted to 1/7,000th of what Hillary spent on advertising. Yeah. Of course, fake ad buys were not material in the context of Facebook's total advertising revenues, which amounted to $27 billion last year.
So you think it's just a public relations ploy by Facebook to gain popularity among the left?
Well, I think it's two things. I think it's one, it's Facebook PR job, and two, it's Facebook advancing the narrative of their leftist allies to try and find any way possible to keep this Russian collusion, impeach Trump movement going. Because if you're just going to rely on Maxine Waters, I don't think that's going to get you there. And Maxine Waters, thank you for asking.
Oh, yeah. How is Maxine Waters?
She's good. She was at Congressional Black Caucus Foundation yesterday, sat down for a thoughtful interview, as Maxine Waters often provides, and she had this to say.
Don't come here and tell me, Maxine, you keep on doing what you do. Maxine gonna keep on doing what you do, but when you gonna give me some support?
You go, girl.
How many of you in your organizations have said impeach 45? Oh, no.
Preach on.
Don't understand that, well, they don't have what it takes. They don't have the laws yet. Impeachment is about whatever the Congress says it is. There is no law that dictates impeachment. What the Constitution says is high crimes and misdemeanors, and we define that.
Yeah. See, if you don't have Mark Zuckerberg, if you can't create something that at least has the whiff of plausibility, you're left to have Maxine Waters be your spokesman. No justice, no peace, Maxine. And she says things like she just said, which is, there is no law about impeachment. We define it. We define high crimes and misdemeanors, whatever Congress says. So you can understand why that's not going to get as far as the Democrats need or want to get on taking out 45, as Maxine was suggesting. You know? So you got to have former Obama administration intelligence officials come out and express their ongoing concern about Russian collusion, trying to hack the election and all that. And you also have to suppress coverage of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her IT guy and not answer and demagogue like our friend Ralph Peters did yesterday on this show. Questions about the surveillance state and using the state to surveil political opponents, legitimate questions about what the government should and shouldn't be doing in a free society that I believe wants to be free of Stasi-like tactics by their government. And so you got to come up with good stuff like, oh, we're going to look at these Facebook ads, so stand by and stay tuned. And please pay no attention to the congresswoman from California, Lorraine in Lowell, Indiana.
Yeah, I think that this is a setup, these Facebook ads, that somehow they're going to go in there and find out that these ads are also hooked to the Trump campaign.
Oh, yeah. Well, you mean they're going to manufacture links that don't exist? Mm.
Yeah. Somehow that you're right about the PR thing and jumping through all these hoops. And I think this is somehow going to end up being a conspiracy to frame Trump.
Well, thanks for the call, Lorraine. I mean, I think that effort is sort of underway. I don't know about with this specific instance of the Facebook ads. I think this is more likely to turn out to be a big nothing burger, as so many of the Democrats' gambits in this area have been. We'll talk to Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor and National Review contributing editor at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, more about this. But the breathless way in which this is reported is, I think, the D.C. press corps trying to kind of restart the engine on the Russian collusion business after a couple of weeks of being distracted by, the human misery created by hurricanes and frankly the fairly well-received response from the federal government and so forth. Now we need to get back to the narrative we're trying to prosecute, while also trying to undermine anything that even partially repeals Obamacare, which of course is at bar in the Senate. That's what I think is happening. Don't think that the New York Times and the Amazon Post and others have forgotten about this whole track of impeach Trump through the Russian collusion investigation, and with the prospect of Paul Manafort being indicted on, who knows what crimes, although some have been telegraphed. This gives them another angle back in. The Facebook thing gives them another angle back in. They can try and dominate the airwaves and their pages with these stories to the exclusion of a more broader look at questionable activity that was going on in the federal government in the Obama administration, that was going on at the DNC. Remember, it was supposed to be, the DNC hack was supposed to be part and parcel of Russia trying to fix our election. Right? Russia trying to intervene in our election, and then that's just disappeared. And there was resistance to the investigation from the DNC chairman at the time, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. All these stories that are legitimate paths of inquiry, those need to be subsumed to the Impeach 45 blather you heard from Maxine Waters and more sanitized versions of that you get from the D.C. press corps.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and too often people tell me that they have heard our advertisements for years. If Balance of Nature is not currently being delivered to your doorstep, start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life. Call and see how you can get your free month's supply.
I noticed a difference in the first month.
I got rid of most of my other vitamins. I feel pretty good, even though I'm an old guy, 77. I think it's doing great.
I just feel good. I just believe they're really what they say they are.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to find out how to get your free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Spalding has a new ad up, and he's taking on Governor Rauner on the issue of abortion at 6:36.
And the roly-poly dictator from North Korea responds to President Trump's UN speech, and they have a new plan of their own. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
73 degrees. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un calling President Trump mentally deranged. There's even talk of another nuclear test in response to the president's threat to destroy North Korea if they proceed with nuclearizing North Korea and then threatening other U.S. allies in the region. U.S. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley says the U.S. does not want an all-out confrontation with North Korea.
That's the last thing anyone wants. We don't want loss of life. That's the last thing anyone wants. But at the same time, we're not going to run scared.
During a news briefing in New York, Haley cheering new sanctions against North Korea. The death toll from Tuesday's earthquake in Mexico, now 280. Hope is beginning to fade that search and rescue teams will find more survivors in collapsed buildings. Maria remains a Category 3 hurricane this morning. Top winds at 125 miles an hour. The Mormon church-owned Brigham Young University ended a 6-decade-long ban Thursday on the sale of caffeinated soft drinks on its campus. Surprised students by posting a picture of a can of Coca-Cola on Twitter with 2 words, "It's happening." The move sparked social media celebration from many current and former students, many recalling how they hauled their own 2-liter bottles of caffeinated soda in their backpack, keep awake for those long study sessions. The university never really banned having caffeinated drinks on campus, but simply held firm to a ban on sales, even when the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in 2012 clarified that the church does not prevent members from drinking caffeinated soft drinks. Chicago continues to experience record-breaking hot weather again today. The temperature may soar over 93. Authorities are investigating the deaths of 2 in West Suburban Stone Park. Drew Peterson will likely appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court after his 2012 murder conviction was upheld by the Illinois Supreme Court. Chris Bryant's 2-run home run in the top of the 10th helped the Cubs outlast the Brewers 5-3. White Sox avoid the 3-game sweep with a 3-1 win over the Astros. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for $5.59 a quart at any participating Napa Auto Parts store. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. General States prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet, get 1 free. Visit us online at GalaxyHome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
One thing I know for sure, that so many of our listeners get a great night's sleep, and that's because so many of you have purchased MyPillows. You've saved a lot of money, and if you don't sleep on a MyPillow, I suggest you act now. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. You can move the fill to give you the support you need regardless of sleep position, and you won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America. You can wash them and dry them. They are hypoallergenic, and there's a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. The founder of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, is a true patriot, and he's generous. He donated 60,000 pillows to Texas flood victims. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in September by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
Being complete layman at the whole home buying thing, we were just hoping we weren't going to get taken through the ringer for. You know, with you guys, we felt like we were a priority instead of just another number. We really did feel like we had your guys' personal touch. We could talk to Barry. I mean, you know, any way that it went. If we didn't get you on the phone, we knew that within 15 minutes we were getting a call or an email back. You guys held us by the hand so that we could finish the race, and you guys definitely got it done for us.
Remember, Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
It is 6:36. That means it's time to get an update on the morning commute. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On northbound I-65, traffic is a little slow, 53rd Avenue to Ridge Road after an earlier stall. Eden's, 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Inbound Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower delays kick in at Manheim, 47 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, delays start at Harlem, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Inbound Ryan, bottled up from the merge to 87th. A car fire in the two right lanes. We have more delays from Pershing into downtown. 30 minutes, 95th to the Loop, outbound 15. On the northbound tri-state, it's heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway tight approaching the Kennedy. Traffic. Service of Staples. Staples has deals on laptops and tech services to help your business, like data recovery and virus protection. Now get an HP Pavilion Intel Core i5 processor for $469.99, a $170 savings. Ends 9/23/17. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mostly sunny with some record-breaking heat. We're just checking the updated temperatures already this morning, 74. We'll top out at 94 later today. Warm and humid, 71 overnight, and 92 again tomorrow. Next news coming your way at 7. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com. Weathering every storm and keeping the lights on.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Turn stateside, some politics. But, Amy, first this. You see, ABC has a new comedy in development from the writer of New Girl. What's that? I don't know.
Another show that nobody watches.
Exactly.
Yeah, this one's got a great title. You ready? Sanctuary Family. Sanctuary Family.
Yeah. Comedy about an undocumented family.
Yeah. Well, they're undocumented nanny. It's this husband and wife, and they want to know if their marriage can survive, the differences between families that are significant and similar. So they invite their nanny in, who's here illegally, Dan. She's not here legally. And they bring their family in, and it's supposed to be, comedy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I expect this to be less funny than when Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm brought Katrina, a black family displaced from Katrina, to live with him. That was pretty good, but that was good writing. This sounds like it's overtly political and will be a real bore. Now, of course, if just FYI, if you're a federal agent, an ICE agent who lives in Illinois, you will be prohibited from watching the show. You're not allowed to watch the show. Okay, so just you're on notice.
But I mean, it's this husband and wife though that they're going to butt heads over the chaos that's created by bringing in this family.
Right,
and
I get it.
But the executive producer also has credits, including Fresh Off the Boat, The Goldbergs, Blackish, and Absolutely Fabulous.
Thank you for his IMDb profile.
Have you ever watched Blackish?
No.
You'd watch it.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll
we'll just
put that on my list. Yeah.
right after you see Concussion.
Right after I get through Marco Polo. Okay, so
and Concussion.
Sanctuary Family. That's a great segue to what's going on in the sanctuary state of Illinois. Governor Rauner is reconsidering a commitment he made to veto legislation. House Bill 40 is the legislation, just so you know the vernacular. And it would provide for Medicaid funding of abortion in Illinois. he promised the Republican caucus that he would veto this legislation. It's another dead-bang loser, much like sanctuary state, where you have supermajority of likely general election voters, so across party lines, who are opposed to it. A lot of pro-choice people say pro-choice, but, don't make me pay for it. If it's your choice, then you pay for it. So that's the attitude of the supermajority of likely general election voters in Illinois.
Well, why has he changed his mind?
It's a great question.
Who got to him? What happened? Is it his wife, Diane?
Diana.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, I
should, don't get it right.
These are like Silver Circle abortionist supporters, the Ronners. I mean, they're huge donors to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. Well, so was Ann Romney. She donated $100,000.
Mm-hmm. And so, with respect to the Ronners,
because they will argue that there is more than abortions performed at Planned Parenthood. I'm just telling you that that's what they. That's why a lot of people donate to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are ignorant. I understand. Yeah, I concede your point.
They can do what they want with their money, though. Yeah. But anyway, yes. So Ronner changed his mind because
it is not illegal to donate to Planned Parenthood.
No, it's not.
It's an important
because our
point.
taxes we're all donating to Planned Parenthood, don't you know?
By the way,
our taxes.
There's a great a bunch of young pro-lifers, hope for the future, are have launched a Sock It to Planned Parenthood campaign. This is great. Sock It to Planned Parenthood, where they're collecting socks to represent all the children that are not here, thanks to ignorant people who support the ghoulish abortion mills that Planned Parenthood operates. And that's what actually happens. So you may check that out. And by the way, I mean, this is the opinion of people in this space who view abortion as thoughtful public policy. Because they're modern-day eugenicists, some of these people, like Planned Parenthood's founder, Margaret Sanger. They're creeps. They're barbarians. And let me give you an example of that. And it's usually the people who think they're the highest-minded that are of the lowest caliber. University of Chicago professor Jerry Coyne expressed approval over the idea of killing newborns who have horrible conditions or deformities or are doomed to a life that cannot by any reasonable light afford happiness, so as he says. This is a position held by other left-wing academics, Peter Singer at Yale and others. If you're allowed to abort a fetus that has severe genetic defect, microcephaly, spina bifida, or so on, then why aren't you able to euthanize that same fetus just after it's born? Comparing newborns to dogs and cats, Coyne claims that someday the practice of killing disabled newborns will be widespread and it will be for the better. When religion vanishes, as it will, argues University of Chicago professor Jerry Coyne, so much of the opposition to both adult and newborn euthanasia will also vanish. Hooray. By the way, Princeton is Peter Singer, not Yale, I'm sorry. But that's the society you want to live in, like Iceland, where, 6 years running and no Down syndrome, no children with Down syndrome have survived
they abort all
abortion.
You're right, don't they abort all the, anyone that's determined to have Down syndrome, they abort.
Yes. Yeah. That's the world you want to live in, right? It's the world J.B. Pritzker wants to live in. J.B. Pritzker, Spalding, as you better know him.
I call him No Neck, but what's he doing? Is he doing another commercial inside a school?
He wants an abortion. He wants it on demand. He wants you to pay for it. He's got an advertisement about it, and he should get nothing and like it.
1975, Illinois passes the trigger law, meaning if the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, a woman's right to choose would be banned in Illinois. This year, the legislature passed a bill to eliminate the law, but Bruce Rauner has promised to veto it.
As governor, I'll fight to protect women's health care, just like I have my whole life. HB 40 will be the first bill I sign in office, because we have to stand up for a woman's right to choose.
Yeah, that's not a women's right to choose, of course. It's a food source for J.B. Pritzker, I believe. It is embracing abortion using taxpayer dollars to fund abortions for expectant mothers covered by Medicaid, health insurance, or state employee plans. That's what it actually is. It's undermining the Hyde Amendment. It's public funding of abortion. That's what it is.
His ad's almost like celebrating abortion.
Well, that's what the left does.
Weird.
It is
Get rid
weird.
of the music too. It's just
Safely.
His first duty as governor is to sign that.
Safe, legal, and rare, right? And so now we go back to, so you understand what Pritzker's doing. He'll do whatever he needs to do and kill whoever he needs to kill
And
to get to the governor's office.
Eat whoever he needs to eat.
Correct. So
I want to see his physical.
So why is Governor Rauner reconsidering, and what are the implications of him potentially reneging on the promise he made to his House Republican caucus and Senate Republican caucus, for that matter, and signing this bill? Joe Sosnowski is a state rep out Rockford DeKalb Way. Had a op-ed arguing that the financial aspect of it, even if you're pro-choice, you can say, look, this is a state with $16 billion in unpaid bills and $250 billion in debt. We can afford to take on another spend program like this. So that's one argument to make if you're pro-choice. Now, Sosnowski's pro-life. But it's a financial argument that you could legitimately make, and that the governor could legitimately make as a pro-choice person. By the way, remember, this is a governor with no social agenda. Trans birth certificates, sanctuary state, obviating right to conscience, and now Medicaid-funded abortion. It's like kind of what I said at the beginning when everybody was saying, oh, it's great, he has no social agenda, he's going to focus on economics. Guess what? Other people do. Other people do have an agenda on other issues, and you're going to be forced to deal with them as a governor. So it's real nice if you want to feign naivete, and if voters want to feign naivete too, and pretend that we can just pick and choose our issues because the other people don't get to play too. The other people who want to make these issues, they don't get to play too. They're not important to everybody because they're not important to me. It doesn't work that way. And now we're seeing the results of that. So if the political implications are this, I think, Rauner is trending towards political oblivion as it is. This just increases the pace of it if he were to do two things. One, sign it on the substance of the policy. And two, he would be reneging on a promise he made to House and Senate Republicans. And what I think you'll see happen if he does that is at least some of the more outspoken pro-life members of those caucuses will publicly repudiate Rauner. So there's not enough discord within the Republican Party right now. He's going to foment it that by continuing doing the bidding of the Democrats, trying to out pro-abort J.B. Pritzker or Dan Biss. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. This is a guy, if he does this, who, I think you really have to question, does he want to run again? Does he, so this is, are you doing this and are you going to spend another $50 or $100 million of your money to get blitzed because you have made yourself a man without a country? You think you're going to cobble together a 50% plus one coalition on sanctuary state and Medicaid-funded abortion and transgender birth certificates? He couldn't even do that in California.
I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny.
Jeff in Mundelein kind of is.
Good morning. As a conservative in a Democratic wasteland, I would have never voted for Rauner if I knew that everything we needed him to vote for or veto against, his wife was going to hold bedroom activity over his head. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff. John in Palatine.
Hey, Dan, I have a question for you. Since you were talking about choices between Rauner and J.D. Pritzker, when Rauner votes to make Illinois a sanctuary state, I guess what choice does any conservative in the state have now? It really disturbs me.
Well, thanks for the call, John. I understand. I am leaning in your direction. And you're getting to the point where, and we just did this. This is redux. We just did this last cycle with Mark Kirk. It's not one thing. It's not one disagreement. There's no litmus test here for conservatives or just kind of rank and file Republicans. Mark Kirk disqualified himself from my support last cycle and the support of so many conservatives and even just kind of center right thinking Republicans for a litany of politically traitorous acts to the party and to the party platform and to a center right policy agenda over the course of his 6 years as a U.S. Senator, didn't he?
What was the most egregious thing that he did? I mean, the list was long. I even considered not voting for him.
Yeah, and so it was a multitude of things. He was so bad on so many issues. He was a cap and trade supporter at first. He was, he's anti-gun. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with him.
What was this famous love? The one that
life is about who you love and who loves you back. His support for gay marriage. I mean, it was just on and on and on. And ultimately, it was just the point to say, well, I'm not going to be frauded and then turn around and support you again. And you know what the result of that was? Mark Kirk got blitzed by Tammy Duckworth. I mean, he lost the state by nearly the amount that Donald Trump did. He lost by 15 points. Trump, I think, was 18 points. But Kirk actually campaigned in this state. So that's where this ends. When you actively work to destroy your base. Politics is about starting from a foundation and building on it. It's not about destroying a foundation and then running to try and create a foundation on the enemy side of the battlefield. That doesn't work. It's bad politics. It's losing politics. So what choice do we have? You get to a point where you say, I'm going to come out and vote. There are a lot of races on the ballot. There are a lot of candidates on the ballot worthy of support. And if Rauner signs HB 40, he's not going to be one that's worthy of my support. That's the Rubicon.
Are you going to sit this one out?
Yeah, I'll skip it. Well, I'm not voting for Spalding or Mayor Quimby or, Bernie Sanders' illegitimate kid, Dan Biss. Not supporting any of those clowns, obviously.
Really? You won't vote it? You'll just sit it out?
Yeah, that's what I did for Kirk versus Duckworth.
Yeah. A lot of people did.
You get to there has to be. The point of this, I guess, if you believe that principle plays any place in politics, or if it's just going to be like, my terrible person is better than your terrible person, a little bit less terrible, what is the residual value, and what is the cost that it imposes? That's the question, right? So control of the Senate, that was the argument Kirk was making to conservatives. Control of the Senate could hang in the balance. No, it didn't. And that was not believable, and it didn't, of course. So what's the argument for Rauner? One of the reasons I haven't abandoned hope yet or taken a new position of Switzerland on the race is because of the importance of the map and redistricting and not allowing Madigan, if we can't depose him next cycle, which, by the way, I think there's a decent chance we can. But let's say we can't and you want to have a hedge, having the governorship is important to the map drawing process after the 2020 election and the new census. And that really matters because Madigan wouldn't be the majority. It wouldn't be the speaker, wouldn't have the majority he has in the House and thus the ability to block any progress in the state were it not for a carefully crafted map. So it's kind of like people who said Trump for the Supreme Court nominee. So I'm kind of Rauner for the map right now, but there's a limit. There's a limit to how many punches in the face that I'm willing to take. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. It's not one issue. It's not any of the single issues I mentioned, but it's an amalgam of them where you say, this is an enemy inside the perimeter. I'm in a foxhole with a guy who, if I turn around, he's going to stab me with his bayonet. I don't want to be there. I'm not going to be there. Dave in Villa Park.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Emmy. Hey, I keep waiting for somebody to come out and run against Rauner. Nobody's going to run against him. Is he going to go uncontested in the primary?
Probably.
Thanks.
Why don't you run, Dan?
No.
Calls
not gonna be
again
me.
for Dan Profter. It's difficult to run against an incumbent,
Thanks for the call, Dave.
but it has been done.
Give up show business? Never. Not me.
Why you would never want to stop seeing me for 4 hours a day?
That's right.
I mean, how could you live?
Where's the rest of me? That's what I would be saying on the campaign trail. No, but I don't think that question is an illegitimate one. Dave's question about somebody running against him. If he does this and loses most of his caucuses in the House and the Senate as a result, I think the fever pitch will increase in terms of people considering that, in spite of the checkbook, because Rauner's not the only one with a checkbook in this state. Greg in Evanston.
Yeah, Dan, I was going to say I'm trying to stay optimistic. I heard about how he's kind of wavering on this, and I got really depressed. But I'm trying to stay optimistic, hoping that maybe this is just a strategy where he's going to let them put the bill on his desk, and then he's just going to sit on it because he's afraid if he vetoes it, that they'll override his veto. So maybe he's doing the pro-life thing by just sitting on it and not making a decision.
Well, he can't. Well, no, he can't sit. He can't not make a decision if they put it on his desk. What's actually happening is Don Harmon, socialist state senator from Oak Park, is holding the bill, preventing it from being sent to the governor's desk until and unless he is sure that Governor Rauner is going to sign it. And if Rauner was going to play the game that you're suggesting, then he would continue to say, I'm going to veto it, or I'm going to keep my promise. He would just stake out the position he's already taken with respect to this matter. He wouldn't even have to talk about it anymore. I've already addressed that issue. I've already told you where my position is, and I'm moving on to other issues. That'd be fine, because then Harmon wouldn't deliver the bill. Then he wouldn't have to act on it. That's the real way to play it. The way not to play it, the way to play it if you're going to turn and renege on your promise, is to do what he's doing right now and say, I'm still unsure, and create a deal that was never made, which is, I promised to veto it, but the Republicans had to stay with me on the budget vote. And since 15 House Republicans, all of whom are pro-life, voted against me, voted for the tax increase, 11 voted to override my veto, then the deal's off. Well, I don't appreciate what those 15 House Republicans did. That's why I'm behind, in part, trying to primary all of them, at least the ones that we already haven't scared into retirement, to improve the caucus. However, there was no such deal ever made. He is manufacturing a deal that was never made. That was never any part of his commitment to veto HB 40. I know that to be true. There were a dozen legislators that know that to be true. He's not going to get away with that. But the fact he's attempting to should be highly concerning.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile. See filmmaker and the best-selling author of Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza, on Saturday, November 11th at Freedom Summit 2017 at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. He'll be appearing with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Also appearing, radio talk show host Larry Elder, Joe Walsh, Dan Proft, and Amy Jacobson. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Storelock.com.
6:59, here are the stories we're watching today on AM 560 The Answer. Chicago setting another record for hot weather. 2 found dead in a Stone Park home. That investigation continues from overnight. CPD unveils their training plan for a new use of force policy. We'll get some details from AM 560's David Stewart. Cubs rally to beat the Brewers in 10. Mostly sunny and hot again today. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
A war of words. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump tweets North Korea's leader is obviously a madman. The day after Kim Jong-un put out a rare direct statement calling the president a rogue, a gangster, and a dotard, which means a senile old man, read on Korean media.
Whatever Trump expected, he will see a response above that. We will control the mentally deranged U.S. doctors with fire.
And North Korea's foreign minister warns they may conduct a nuke test in the Pacific Ocean, a hydrogen bomb, days after President Trump threatened to destroy North Korea at the UN. He's also tightened financial restrictions with an executive order that would target any foreign bank that does trade transactions with North Korea. The president also tweeted this morning about Facebook. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump is questioning Facebook's decision to hand over hundreds of internet ads to committees investigating Russian election interference. The president tweeted, "The Russia hoax continues," and now it's ads on Facebook. Yesterday, CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced Facebook is committed to working with the government.
We are in a new world. It is a new challenge for internet communities to have to deal with nation states attempting to subvert elections.
The president also tweeted, "What about the totally biased and dishonest media coverage in favor of crooked Hillary?" Dave.
Rachel, the new updates just out on Hurricane Maria. Still a Category 3 storm, 125-mile-an-hour max sustained wind, dangerously close to Turks and Caicos, only 30 miles to the north after leaving Puerto Rico powerless, massively damaged and flooded in some areas. Crews keep digging through rubble in Mexico.
Across central Mexico, rescue teams remain at work trying to find any trapped survivors from Tuesday's devastating earthquake. In hard-hit Mexico City alone, more than 50 buildings have now collapsed.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt is there. Several people were pulled out alive yesterday, but not the young girl said to be trapped in the ruins of her school. Turns out that story that gripped the country wasn't true. 273 others were killed. Fox News, fair and balanced.
75 degrees, sunrise in Chicago at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. On this first full day of fall, Chicago's record-breaking heat continues. Yesterday, the temperature soared over the 94-degree mark, breaking the record set back in 1970. Temps are expected to reach the 90s again today. Authorities investigating the deaths of two in Stone Park. No one is in custody. Police say few details will be released at this time. Federal racketeering charges filed against 9 members of a Chicago street gang, alleging they participated in a criminal organization that killed 6. One member of the Four Corner Hustlers, Labar Span, is accused in all 6 alleged murders. Chicago police are showing reporters that training in a new use of force policy is already happening. AM 560's David Stewart was there.
Police brass Thursday invited reporters to watch a session of the basic 4-hour training course that's based on the new policy that emphasizes the sanctity of life. First Deputy Superintendent Kevin Navarro says that by October 15th, all officers will have taken the basic course, developed in the wake of numerous high-profile police shootings over the past few years.
I've been a Chicago police officer for a long time, and I can tell you this is monumental. These officers are going to have use of force training every year, so it's fresh in their mind.
Next year, officers will be required to take 8 hours of training, and by 2021, 40 hours of training will be mandatory. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
And a story we told you about last year now has an update. A 20-year prison sentence handed to a Chicago man who pleaded guilty to attacking a 94-year-old World War II veteran. Olajuwon Claiborne was tearful and he apologized yesterday to now 95-year-old Josephine Regnier before being sentenced by a Cook County judge. You may recall Regnier was attacked last December outside her home in the Garfield Ridge neighborhood. The grandmother left with bruises and broken ribs after being beaten and robbed while waiting for her daughter in the gangway of her home. That attacker, Olajuwon Claiborne, ran away with her purse, is now facing, again, 20 years in prison. Chris Bryant, a 2-run bomb in the top of the 10th. Cubs outlast the Brewers 5-3. Meantime, the White Sox get a 3-1 win over the Astros. Blackhawks blast the Red Wings 6-1 in a preseason affair at the UC. Brandon Saad with the hat trick. The news is a service of Staples. Staples has deals on laptops and tech services to help your business, like data recovery and virus protection. Now get an HP Pavilion with Intel Core i5 processor for $469.99. $170 savings ends 9/23/17. Staples, it's pro time. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
7:07 and a check of the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound. It's stop and go now from I-65 to Broadway. The eastbound side is fine. Edens runs 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 23. The Kennedy 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown 22 from Montrose, 21 on the Express. Outbound 29 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office 42 from Manheim. Outbound 35 to Thorndale. Stevenson 59 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. Ryan 29 minutes from 95th to downtown. I-57 31 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop Ford 35. Lakeshore Drive's okay. Northbound Tri-State. Slow 95th to Ogden. Reagan Tollway much of the way to Irving Park. Adams Tollway heavy from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Reagan Tollway fine. Northbound Veterans Memorial. Slow Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Heat wave through Sunday. Hot and humid day, mostly sunny with a high today of 94. Then turning out to be a clear night tonight. Humid with a low 71 and remaining humid for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine throughout the day, high 92. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
75 at O'Hare, 78 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and the left is in full panic over Graham Cassidy, a vote scheduled for next week in the Senate, and McConnell reportedly getting close to the 50 votes he needs. According to Kim Strassel in the Wall Street Journal, this all turns on Lisa Murkowski because McCain will not have a repeat performance of what he did over the summer. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined by Kimberly Leonard. She is Senior Healthcare Policy Reporter for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. Kimberly, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So is Strassel's handicapping of the Senate vote, is that about right, that it really is going to come down to what Murkowski does?
Well, it's going to come down to the same three that it came down to last time.
But this time, Senator Rand Paul has said he's absolutely not voting for it. He hasn't backed down. So right now, you have one for sure no, and then you have probably Susan Collins as a no. But yes, everyone's watching Lisa Murkowski as well as Senator John McCain.
And McCain's alliance with Lindsey Graham, just generally speaking, and also the nature of this legislation, different than what was proposed over the summer, and different in terms of its impact on a state like Arizona, where the governor's come out in support of it. Same thing with Murkowski and the pressure she'll have in Alaska. Doesn't that change McCain's calculus?
Well, the thing that McCain has said from the beginning is that he wants to see regular order when it comes to considering a health care bill. So he wants open hearings. He wants time for amendments. He wants this all to have been discussed basically since the beginning of the year, and it hasn't been in the Senate. Initially, all of the bills were written behind closed doors. This time the bill was introduced last week, and we've had a little time to look over it and so forth. But the question is it going to be enough time? There's one hearing next week, and then they're expected to vote on it. We keep asking Senator McCain, is that regular order? And he pretty much shrugs it off. So it's tough to tell how he's going to vote. It doesn't seem like he's happy about how the process has gone.
Yeah, but it seems like, to make a process argument to vote against the substance of at least partial Obamacare repeal, that's going to be a tough case to make out for the senator.
Well, we'll see. He might be framed as inconsistent if he does that, just because this hasn't really gone through rigorous review. There are changes that people would like to see to it. And so if there isn't time to do all of that, he may vote against it. It's very hard to tell. He kept us waiting last time, if you recall, as well. He wouldn't tell us how to vote. So the same thing is happening now. And Lisa Murkowski has said, even though the bill contains special provisions for Alaska, because one of the things that's interesting about Alaska is that the health care there is so much more expensive than other parts of the country.
Right.
She said, even though it contains, special provisions for Alaska, she said, am I really going to vote for something that will, cause disruption for the rest of the country? And a lot of people aren't even necessarily as concerned about the bill's provisions as they are about the funding and the timeline. So they like the idea of state flexibility, but they're worried that states don't have enough time to come up with their own health care system.
Now, Senator Graham, co-author of the bill, was on with Brett Baer last night on Special Report. He claims that a couple of Democrats will be jumping on board and voting with Republicans. Are you hearing the same? And if so, which, besides maybe Manchin, do you think he's just talking about?
I know that they were trying to get Democrats. I will say that Senator Bill Cassidy has tried very hard to make this a bipartisan bill. And Senator Cassidy has hosted reporters at his office. He's gone through all the numbers. This is not like the last time where it was all behind closed doors and we didn't know what was in the legislation. Mm-hmm. They've been running through everything with reporters. But they also were trying to get Senator McCaskill on board because she might have a vulnerable seat for next year, and her state, Missouri, looks as though it could get additional funding from this bill. It doesn't seem like she will be on board, though, and the Democrats have been really on the same page with all of this. I would be surprised, but now very little surprises me when it comes to what happens in Washington.
And what about Senator Heidi Heitkamp? Is that a possibility?
That again is hard to see as well. The pressure that Democrats are under to oppose any changes to Obamacare is very, very, they've been unified this entire time. One thing I will say, though, is given that there was a single payer bill introduced last week by a number of Democrats led by Senator Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont, some Democrats might not be willing to say, I'm ready for the party to go in this direction. So they might say, okay, it's better to make alterations to Obamacare than go towards single payer, which would be a government-run system in which everyone would be enrolled into Medicare. That would probably be far off, but it might send signals that in my mind would be something that could sway certain Democrats, but they don't want to see Obamacare repealed.
An astute listener chastised me politely, constructively, and so I will pass this on to try and get this started.
Yeah.
It should be called single provider, term single provider, not single payer. It's government as the sole provider, not payer. It's still the taxpayers paying, and single payer makes it sound like it's, the government's paying, but you still have choice. It's still a private insurance marketplace, and it's not really. I think single provider is more descriptive.
Well, I covered one poll this week that was very revealing. It was by Politico and Morning Consult. And they found that 49% of those who were polled said they either strongly or somewhat supported single payer. And then there was a second question that asked participants whether they thought the government should have more or less control over the healthcare industry. And more people voted in favor of the government having less control. So there is some question here over whether people understand what they're being asked.
Yeah, it's a really good point, and so thus the marketing and the explaining is important, and also since you brought up the insurance companies, this is so funny too. The Jimmy Kimmels of the world that and the other demagogues that want to go out there and say I'm for the little guy when their position is to be in bed with the big insurance companies on these matters, including in this case where America's health insurance plans, the lobbying group representing American insurers, said this week it opposes Graham Cassidy because, I'm trying not to laugh, it could pave the way for states to implement their own single payer, as they term it, healthcare systems. Oh, the big insurance company, insurance companies, they're free market types now.
Well, and they don't like the way that Obamacare is going for them. A lot of insurers have lost a lot of money working in the exchanges, and there are a lot of reasons for that, a lot that are political. A lot was changed by the Obama administration and then the Trump administration. But that was one of the reasons that they said they opposed this bill. And Senator Lindsey Graham has said, we're fine with states implementing single payer if that's what they want to do. Just don't force it on every other state. But then there are other senators who said, shouldn't we add an amendment in here that prevents states from doing this? So there is a tension there.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like there's... I'm sorry. It doesn't seem like there's enough... It doesn't seem like there's enough cash, though, because we had this conversation with Ramesh Ponnuru from National Review and some others. It doesn't seem like there's enough cash for states to really implement single payer unless they're going to come up with a boatload more than they're going to get with the federal government.
Well, that's right. And a couple of states, California and Vermont, had considered implementing single payer under Obamacare because Obamacare does allow for some flexibility with approval from the Department of Health and Human Services, which is the federal health agency. It allows for some flexibility to change states' healthcare systems, but neither state had enough funding. It would be very expensive. One of the things that keeps coming up is that most employers who provide health insurance get major tax breaks from the federal government to do that. And so they would be foregoing a lot of that cash if they were to go single payer because they can't just get rid of those funds.
And isn't that also why you have the National Association of Medicaid Directors? Those must be fun conventions. Cautioning Republicans against against Graham Cassidy because it would undermine efforts to improve the country's health care because it would transfer financial risk from the federal government to the states. They don't want to wear the jacket for Medicaid either.
Well, there are some states that really, there are 15 governors who are behind this, and there are some states that really want this. But it has to do with, okay, who's going to get how much funding, and also, I would say, the health profile of some of these states. Some states would say, I'm almost willing to go with a little bit less in order to be able to do more with the money. So there is that desire from states to have more flexibility, and I'm working on a story that I'll be publishing later today that looks at ways that states have tried to get more flexibility from the federal government, whether that means investing Medicaid dollars into some of the social determinants of health, like housing, but being unable to do that because of lack of flexibility on the federal level.
She is Kimberly Leonard, Senior Healthcare Policy Reporter for the Washington Examiner. WashingtonExaminer.com is where you can find her work. Kimberly, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate your insights.
Sure, thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And speaking of Jimmy Kimmel, Brian Kilmeade responds to his physical threat that he made against him on his show. But first, here's your forecast for the first day of fall. It feels like the middle of summer. A high today of 94 degrees, and your weekend's going to be hot and humid as well. We'll be setting records both days of the weekend. And for the Bears-Steelers game, we're going to have a high of 91 degrees. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. CTA Orange Line trains are standing at Kedzie right now. There's a mechanical issue with the train. The Edens is 25 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 34. Inbound Eisenhower, the travel time. Thorndale to Post Office, 55 minutes, outbound 35. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's 38 minutes. Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays, 95th to Ogden. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue went from the Grand Avenue curve to Irving Park. The Adams and Reagan Toll was pretty light, no real significant delays. Veterans Memorial, little heavy approaching the Reagan Tollway, and slow Army Trail to 290. Westbound 8094 is heavy I-65 to Broadway. I'm Jim Telemonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
How would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware, software, give you peace of mind, knowing that somebody's got your back? Well, Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians. They're there working for you in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you out over the phone. They'll make house calls to your workplace if necessary. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take preventative measures, working all the time to make sure your networks are secure, backed up, and running nonstop. The Turnkey experience includes just that, but it also includes Office 365 hosting, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and again, that unlimited remote and on-site support. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company. They're locally owned and operated. They're great family, good company business. It's turnkey.pro. It's turnkey.pro.
Game time is now. From kids sports to pro ball. When family and friends gather to watch their favorite sports, you need Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli and Grill on your team. Augie's is ready to cater your tailgate and game day parties with signature subs, loaded with the highest quality meats, cheeses, and fresh veggies. Plus, mouth-watering classics like Italian beef made from their own family recipe. Stop in or have your team take out bubbling hot pizza, hand-rolled meatball sandwiches, burgers, and fresh hot seasonal paninis. Can't choose? Get them all. Augustino's knows what your busy family needs this fall. You need good food that's fast, fresh, and affordable. They've got children's meals and even gluten-free options, which is why Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli and Grill is DuPage County's family favorite destination since 1978. Get your game day party started with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli and Grill, Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Check out their menu along with catering menus at augustinos.com. And remember, at Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli and Grill, game day is the day they train for.
In this tight labor market, finding new employees can be tough. Whether you're the business owner or an HR professional, you want access to highly qualified candidates fast. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, no matter the industry, with Indeed you get immediate access to a high-quality pool of talent with no long-term contracts or upfront fees. For a limited time, Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to make their first job listing a sponsored job with premium visibility so more candidates will see it. You want to make a great hire fast, and this exclusive offer gives you a head start. Independent research shows 6 times more hires are delivered through Indeed than any other job site, making Indeed your one-stop source for hiring. To redeem this offer, go to Indeed.com/offer. That's Indeed.com/offer. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. James Madison, Federalist Papers. Our founders recognized that the common individual needs to be trusted, but with trust, there must be common sense and personal responsibility. This is especially true of handguns. If you've been thinking of making a purchase, visit the Range at 355. The Range at 355 is so much more than a state-of-the-art shooting range. It is a fully stocked showroom carrying a variety of firearms with brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, HKs, and Glock. The Range at 355 offers Illinois concealed carry license training and a full curriculum of classes designed to teach you what you need to know to be a responsible gun owner and concealed carrier. Their professional team will train you like a pro. Founded by patriots like you, providing professional guidance and courteous instruction. Trust your skills to the pros at the Range at 355. For range hours and class info, visit range355.com. range355.com.
Hey, the metals market fluctuates constantly. Monitoring gold, silver, and platinum prices is like riding a roller coaster. So, how do you know when it's the best time to buy or sell metal, diamonds, and coins minted before 1964? You don't need to be a fortune teller. Instead, take some advice from the experts, my friends at MJ Miller & Company. They suggest you do a little homework prior to selling, ensuring you receive the maximum value for your valuables. For example, are you aware of the history behind each piece? Do you know your metal's quality or your gemstone's grading? Do you have paperwork to back it up? Watching the market prices helps too, and always sell your items to a reliable source, a place that has withstood the test of time and reputation, a place like MJ Miller. MJ Miller & Company is located in downtown Barrington. Call 847-381-7900 or visit mjmillerjewelers.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, a leading gun control activist in Chicago, Camelia Williams,
has a gun and a concealed carry permit. That's how violent Chicago is. The gun control activists are walking around armed. Now, she lives in a tough neighborhood. She says that people don't understand how violent Chicago is. Yeah, I think we do. It's the gun control advocates who don't. So rather than, Ms. Williams, rather than continuing to do the bidding of politicians with security details, remember when we interviewed that woman, Javonda Dunnigan, and the South Side African-American women who formed a gun club?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Miss Williams should hook up with Miss Dunnigan and join the other African-American ladies on the South Side who are, take excursions to gun ranges to make sure they know how to handle a gun and to practice their aim, just like I do or anybody else does. And as I said, stop doing the bidding of the Tiny Dancers and the Ed Burks and the Michael Bloombergs of the world. They're the reason your neighborhoods, one of the proximate causes of your neighborhoods not being as safe as they otherwise could. And I just love the fact that she understands the personal need
for protection.
Now she just needs to connect it to the policy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of inconsistency, we're going to distill the difference between the transparency rhetoric coming from the mouth of Tiny Dancer versus the opacity of his administration's behavior. That'll be with Faisal Khan, CEO of Project 6, at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunshine in 74. Mexico and parts of the Caribbean are struggling to recover from devastating natural disasters this morning. The search for survivors buried by collapsed buildings continues in and around central Mexico as the country is reeling from that massive 7.1 magnitude quake. Meantime, in Puerto Rico, millions are without power, could be for weeks, maybe months, in the wake of Hurricane Maria. Arizona Congressman Trent Franks says he's behind President Trump's new economic sanctions against North Korea. He says in spite of recent nuclear testing, he doesn't believe Kim Jong-un really wants to attack the U.S. or its allies.
They're wanting to extort the United States, and unfortunately, that continues to buy them time, and their threat becomes more and more real.
Frank says new sanctions are a far cry from the policies of former Presidents Clinton and Obama. Mark Zuckerberg says his Facebook will work with the U.S. government to investigate any role Russian ads may have played in the 2016 election.
We will continue working with the government to understand the full extent of Russian interference, and we will do our part, not only to ensure the integrity of free and fair elections around the world, but also to give everyone a voice and to be a force for good and democracy everywhere.
The tech giant CEO saying Facebook has struck a deal with Capitol Hill investigators to release advertisements purchased by Russians to allegedly try and influence the 2016 campaign. Tech news this morning, Hewlett-Packard is laying off 5,000 workers. The information technology giant spun off from HP, the computer company, nearly 2 years ago, and is expected to begin cutting its workforce before the end of the year. Divisions, including business services and some software units, are being let go. Chicago continues to experience record-breaking hot weather, 94 yesterday, 93 today. Authorities continue investigating the deaths of two in Stone Park. A mother and son were reportedly found dead inside a home last night. No one is in custody. Few other details are available. Charges are pending following a deadly shooting at a southwest suburban Arby's restaurant in Hickory Hills. Chris Bryant's two-run homer in the top of the 10th gave the Cubs a 5-3 win over the Brewers in the first of a four-game set in Milwaukee. White Sox avoid the three-game sweep and scratch out a 3-1 win over the Astros. NHL preseason, Blackhawks over the Red Wings, 6-1. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has deals on laptops and tech services to help your business, like data recovery and virus protection. Now get an HP Pavilion with Intel Core i5 processors for $469.99. $170 savings. Ends 9/23/17. Staples, it's pro time. 7:34. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The private bank is now CIBC. Their name may have changed, but their commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
Ever since I was little, I imagined owning a bakery. With hard work, I made it happen. But after this weekend's robbery, I realized that I need to protect my dream with security.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems, your local family-owned business, understands the threats you might face. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 and find out how we can protect you. License number 127000143.
I manage a construction site, and the other morning we had to send half of the crew home because of missing equipment. This nonsense is cutting into my time and budget.
Here's what you need to know. Alarm Detection Systems offers mobile security solutions that expand with your project. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 to find out about our alarm and video protection. License number 127000143.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
7:36. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound, Kennedy delays are from Canfield to the Hubbard Tunnel. It's 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 33 from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 34 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 22 minutes from Lake Cook to the Kennedy, outbound 30. Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes now. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 45 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 29 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Northbound Tri-State, slow 95th to Ogden, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial heavy, 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. The other tollways are good. Traffic, service, Napa Auto Parts. This month, Valvoline full synthetic motor oil is on sale for $5.59 a quart. Any participating Napa Auto Parts store. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. General States prices do not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Sunny, possible record-breaking heat, very humid, high 94, currently 75. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so last week the Tribune did an interesting look back at Tiny Dancer and the campaign cash he's amassed during his tenure as mayor. They, in their story about his present campaign war chest, they look back at the 2015 election in which he raised $24 million. 60% of the mayor's roughly 100 most loyal donors received City Hall benefits and regularly met with Emanuel, a level of access to provided to a few in the city. But the meeting with Emanuel is one thing. It's the contracts and other financial benefits, the pay-to-play, which isn't over, despite having 2 pay-to-play governors of the last 4 go to prison, of course, Ryan and Blagojevich. It's just gone from George Ryan's people putting the arm on others to buy $50, $75 tickets to fundraisers to hundreds of thousands, millions, in some cases tens of millions of dollars in benefits to pinstripe patronage gents at big law firms and bond houses and the like. And so updating, the Tribune looked at the $3.1 million that Tiny Dancer has taken in high dollar contributions with the February 19 mayoral election in the offing, and found that 2.1 million of it, nearly 70%, has come from 83 donors who have derived specific benefits, economic benefits, from actions at City Hall. So you think that anybody is chastened by the experience of all the politicians that have gone to prison, including at the highest levels in the state? No, they're not. In fact, what they've done is get out from Main Street and take it to Wall Street, or in this case, LaSalle Street and Bull Mish and all of the halls of power, the big law firms, the white tablecloth set. That's what's actually happening. That's why there's that much more money. I mean, this George Ryan, even Blagojevich were pikers compared to what we're talking about here with Tiny Dancer. And yet, outside of this report, it doesn't seem like there's the same level of scrutiny or the same level of association with corruption. And the question is, should there be that same level of scrutiny and that same level of association? To help us answer that question, we're pleased to be joined by Faisal Khan, who's the former legislative inspector general for the Chicago City Council. Now he's the CEO of Project 6, which does all kinds of investigatory work. And he's got a recent piece, Chicago ranks worst for financial disclosure requirements, meaning for politicians and candidates, among major cities. Faisal, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. So you've done a little bit of compare and contrast between Chicago and other major cities when it comes to what candidates and politicians are required to disclose in terms of their economic interests. Give us a little summary of that.
Yeah, Dan, we looked at a number of major cities. We compared L.A., Phoenix, Dallas, Charlotte, New York, and Chicago. And unfortunately, not to your surprise and not to everyone else's, Chicago is pretty much dead last when it comes to making our elected officials disclose financial information to taxpayers to know whether they're susceptible to corruption or not.
Well, give us an example of, like, even in other, like, blue states, what California requires or New York requires that we don't.
Sure. Well, look, we looked at a bunch of categories, Dan. We looked at income and employment, gifts, travel expenses, debts and loans, real estate, and what we found, for instance, in travel expenses, you know that our mayor travels a lot, as you noted earlier, and we don't ask. We don't ask what it costs to hop on a private jet or who's paying or picking up that tab in case there's any kind of conflict of interest. Whereas cities like Phoenix ask whether or not you've attended, which conferences you've attended, which meetings you've attended, and whether or not they've incurred over $1,000 in travel-related expenses, which weren't picked up by you. Phoenix is asking that question, yet Chicago does not ask it whatsoever. Let's talk about real estate. We don't ask enough questions about our real estate in Chicago. We simply ask, do you have a financial other than your primary home, whereas every other jurisdiction asks much more detailed questions. Take New York, for instance. Report any real estate in which you have a vested or even contingent interest valued at $1,000 or more, including timeshares, real estate outside of New York and in the whole United States. So that gives you an idea, Dan, of what we're dealing with here. That it's not even so much the elected officials. The city itself is not interested in knowing who's working and taking taxpayer dollars at this point.
So, okay, well, then sometimes, though, officials get caught. I mean, look at Barbara Byrd Bennett and what she did.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. But the point of these disclosures is to be able to identify potential conflicts of interest up front, not after they happen. So, for instance, had we known that Barbara Byrd Bennett was in debt or had significant dealings with her past employers, we may have been a little more cautious and a little more aware of how she was doling out deals and getting kickbacks through CPS.
Yeah, it's a fair point. What about with respect to appointees? I mean, for example, the CPS board has a lot of power and
power over contracting, and they were apparently asleep at the switch with Barbara Byrd Bennett's schemes. So, but I mean, mayoral appointees can have a lot of influence as well.
Yeah, no question. Look, Dan, you made a very good point, right, just before I came on, and pointed out that the Tribune study showed that 83 people have made up a bulk of the...
Faisal?
Hello?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Tiny Dancer has cut the line. Oh, Faisal, are you back?
Yeah, I hope.
Oh, okay.
About that. I don't know how I lost you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't move around, though.
You were, yeah, it's just stay.
If the cell works, don't move.
Yeah, you need that satellite dish back on the top of your head. So you were making the point about the Tribune story and about the 83 donors representing 70% of Rahm's contributions.
Well, basically, had that information been disclosed and that the mayor has taken money from people who may be getting benefits from the city, we would be asking a lot more questions than just talking about it today. The reality is that's what goes on when we just don't have enough disclosures of potential conflicts of interest. And the Board of Ethics here in Chicago, through this ethical disclosure form, simply are not asking enough questions at this point.
Yeah, and I hear, what about the issue, too? I mean, this gets beyond disclosure. This is, kind of how they operate in public office, so you're not necessarily going to catch this at the preemptory stage like you're talking about. But this idea, like, okay, we're going to borrow a ton of money, so we got, the bond purveyors, the bond houses that are going to stand to benefit, and then the bond houses and the bond counsel go to their let's use the bond counsel, for example. The blue chip law firms pass the hat and say, hey, everybody write a $5,000 check. We got to send that over to Tiny Dancer's campaign account. That stuff's real. It happens. I know it happens. You can actually discern it from his financial reports, his campaign committee reports. So what about that sort of, that's straight pay to play, isn't it?
No question about it. Look, if you can identify that law firm is doing business with the city, yet they're going around hat in hand collecting money for the alderman or mayor, for instance, then yeah, that's a conversation we have to be having in terms of what services is that law firm getting and what's the value of that, and why isn't that being disclosed so we can make educated decisions as to whether or not they deserve a contract or not.
And so give me an example of reforms that you would propose that you think could at least raise the bar and bring us in line with other cities that do a better job at the front end of this process.
Let me put it to you this way, Dan. New York has a 31-page form when it comes to disclosures. LA is 23 pages. It goes on and on. Chicago, 2.
2, yeah.
Sure.
2 pages.
Do you promise to be honest? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Welcome to the city council.
Yeah, and the rest of it is describe your favorite baseball team.
Yeah, right.
And why?
And why? We have 2 pages and 16 questions.
Now, is one of those pages a standing invite to Ed Burke's fundraisers?
There is, and I think there's a Chicago flag that covers the half of another page.
Yeah, right.
So you know what needs to be done. Just that disclosure alone tells you how far behind we are when it comes to the promises we make to right by ethics.
I have a crazy question for you because I'm always curious about this. I know that the manuals fly privately. Who does give them, or whose jet do they borrow, or is it given to? And should we know about that?
We should, Amy, and it's the millionaires, the people who are flying Rahm and who are also getting lots of taxpayer dollars with contracts with the city of Chicago. The mayor should be disclosing every gift in kind he gets, and that includes travel on an airplane, and we should be reporting that every year so taxpayers can see exactly who the mayor owes a favor to when he gets a free ride on a jet to wherever he wants to go.
So I recall Mayor Tiny Dancer making a big issue of transparency, much like the president for whom he served as chief of staff. He was going to be the most transparent administration in the history of the city of Chicago. Now, that's sort of a low bar, but I wonder how you would assess his performance against that pronouncement.
I have nothing personal against Rahm Emanuel, Dan, but he gets a flat F when it comes to this.
All right. Well,
the grade is in.
That's he looks like he's going to have to repeat the class. Hopefully, not repeat his term as mayor, but we'll see about that in 2019. The study, the investigative report, Chicago ranks worst for financial disclosure requirements among major cities. You can find it at thesecret6.com, thesecret6.com. He is Faisal Khan, CEO of Project 6 and former legislative inspector general for the Chicago City Council. Faisal, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560, The Answer.
You get flown around too, right? Or you fly yourself around?
Yeah, but I'm a big star. So
With that Cessna? Yeah.
I fly myself around in a Cessna Skyhawk. It's not quite as glamorous.
Today, it's going to be hot and humid again. Record-breaking heat coming our way for 3 days in a row here. Again, a high today of 94. Saturday, a high of 91. And on Sunday for the Bears-Steelers game and the Chicago Half Marathon, drink plenty of liquids. A high
Steelers
of
45, Bears 3.
Okay. All right. That's a good prediction. A high of 91 degrees on Sunday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. South Side, Wabash is blocked between 51st and 47th. Got a fire there. Eden's
Wabash.
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 Southside Bears fan. Tailgate. The Edens, not bad. Inbound, 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, 30. The Kennedy, 55 minutes. So O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes only save a minute or two. Outbound, 34 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 57 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 45 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 39 minutes. Ryan, 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tollways are lighter than usual. Eastbound I-80, we see delays. LaGrange Road to Harlem. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Text MONEY to 99,000. That's MONEY to 99,000.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
The war on depression is over.
You win.
Depression, with all the drugs and side effects, the endless counseling, the frustration with life and relationships.
The war is over. You win.
In a few short weeks, your life will change.
It's TMS therapy.
Over 1 million people have been treated, and the results are nothing short of outstanding. It's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare.
Most drugs and other treatments just mask the depression.
TMS treats the cause, so you can win the war with your depression. Remission or cure.
Depression gone.
Get a free consultation at one of the HPR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin. Ask questions.
For you or someone you love, safe, revolutionary, effective treatment for depression.
Let depression recovery begin. HPR centers.
800-604-0208. 800-604-0208.
Go to endmydepression.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. Millwright work is often technical and requires a high degree of precision. The pros at Vans Industrial are skilled mechanics that can perform any type of millwright work, including installation and maintenance of your factory equipment and machinery. For your machine repair needs, look no further than Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial millwright contractor that can install new mechanical systems or repair existing systems. Our services include repair of bearings, shafts, shiv alignments, as well as installation of conveyors and bucket elevators. Our team of trained mechanics will respond to your emergency calls 24/7, keeping your systems operational. We're here to help you.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
The same banking team you already know and trust at the Private Bank has come together with one of the strongest banks in North America. And we have a new name. The Private Bank is now CIBC. We share the same focus on building strong client relationships, and we're now backed by a bank with over 150 years of experience in putting clients first. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to helping your business grow is now stronger than ever. Visit us at cibc.com/US. Member FDIC.
Got your head in the IT cloud? How are things in there? Confusing? When your business is considering the location for your precious data, or if you're already using the cloud and can't seem to navigate through, Turnkey IT is ready to clear things up. You need to be ready. It's estimated that by 2020, over 78% of all small businesses will be partially or totally using the cloud. The truth is, it's great for everyone in some way, but in what way for you? Turnkey IT can help your business understand the cloud and help you utilize it safely and securely. And sure, you may already be using Office 365, but there's so much more that the cloud can do. Turnkey IT is eager to educate you on what's best for your business. And don't forget, if you're frustrated by the lack of responsiveness or the high cost of your current IT company, Turnkey can help with that too. Clear up the cloudiness when it comes to the latest technology. Be sure your business is current. Visit turnkey.pro to make contact today. Turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Remember Valerie Plame, Amy? Valerie Plame, the cause celeb of the left after she was outed by Richard Armitage, and that was used to prosecute Scooter Libby.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, in the Bush administration.
Long time.
Yeah.
What's she up to?
She's up to anti-Semitism.
Oh, no.
Tweeting out a piece, America's Jews are driving America's wars. Happy Rosh Hashanah from Valerie Plame. She tweeted out this anti-Semitic rant that suggests that Jewish neoconservatives like Bill Kristol should be tagged when they appear on talk shows with a chyron that, like, and I'm quoting, Jewish and an outspoken supporter of the state of Israel, unquote. Now, Plame apologized, saying, I thought this was a bit of a think piece. Yeah. And it turns out people did some digging into Plame's previous Twitter history. Remember when Sean Spicer apologized for his Holocaust remark comparing to a Holocaust to Syria?
Mm-hmm.
Called Sheldon Adelson apologized. Valerie Plame tweeted in response to a question, who else did Sean Spicer call? She tweeted, other rich Jews.
there's a number of anti-Semitic tweets from Valerie Plame. Cause celeb of the left. A blessed Rosh Hashanah to you.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Andy McCarthy from NRO on Russian collusion at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Another record-setting day for heat. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Rocket Man versus the Dotard. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. North Korea's leader has called President Trump mentally deranged, a gangster, and a dotard, which means senile old man, saying the U.S. will pay dearly for the president threatening to destroy his country. North Korea's foreign minister even suggests they may test a hydrogen bomb in the Pacific. Fox's John Decker has a reaction live from the White House.
President Trump taking to Twitter, writing Kim Jong-un of North Korea, who is obviously a madman who doesn't mind starving or killing his people, will be tested like never before. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, says it was clear at the UN this week.
World leaders, including in China, taking seriously President Trump's actions, not his threats, not his words. Words or talk is cheap.
President Trump signed an executive order Thursday targeting North Korea's trading partners, calling it a powerful new tool aimed at isolating and denuclearizing Pyongyang. Dave?
John, President Trump also at the UN warned about the danger of Iran, and he's considering ripping up the nuclear deal. So today, Iran's President Rouhani flexed his military muscle with a public rollout of their newest ballistic missiles.
No matter if you like it or not, we will boost our defense and military power.
It's a rough morning in Turks and Caicos, already scarred by Irma. Hurricane Maria is passing by just to the north after hammering Puerto Rico, where there's a lot of damage and flooding. Power could be out for weeks. There are reports of 13 to 15 deaths. At least 15 others were killed in Dominica.
Every village in Dominica, every street, every cranny, every person in Dominica was impacted by the hurricane.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett tells ABS it was like a war zone in some areas. Another big protest in St. Louis. Hundreds of mostly white demonstrators rallied, chanting "White silence is violence" to show solidarity with who they call black victims of racism after a white ex-cop was acquitted by a judge in a shooting death. Fox News, fair and balanced.
75 degrees. Skies are mostly sunny. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago continues to experience record-breaking hot weather. In fact, the entire state is draped in hot and humid conditions today. Low 90s again. Authorities investigating the deaths of two in West Suburban Stone Park. Mother and son were reportedly found dead inside of a home. Police tell us no one is in custody. Drew Peterson will likely appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court after his 2012 murder conviction was upheld. The Illinois Supreme Court handed down that ruling yesterday. Chicago's traditional taxi cabs continuing to lose ground in their battle on the city's streets. AM 560's David Stewart with the numbers.
For Chicago cab drivers, 2017 is shaping up as the worst in the last 4 years and possibly the worst ever. DNA Info reports that between January and July, the number of people taking cabs in Chicago zoomed down 41% compared with last year. July was the first month in which cab drivers gave fewer than 1 million rides. The drop-off coincides with the rise in the use of ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft. Taxi advocates say the less restrictive rules for the ride-sharing companies is the reason 900 taxi medallions have gone into foreclosure this year. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Chicago sports, Chris Bryant, a two-run bomb in the top of the 10th, helping the Cubs outlast the Brewers 5-3. White Sox get a 3-1 win over the Astros. Blackhawks beat the Red Wings 6-1 in a preseason affair at the UC. Brandon Saad with the hat trick. Welcome back. Fighting Illini idle this weekend, Northwestern 2. Notre Dame does hit the road to take on Michigan State. Steelers roll into Chicago to battle the Bears Sunday. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, T-Mobile and Sprint are close to merging. Reuters says Japan-based investment firm SoftBank will own 40% of the combined company. SoftBank owns most of Sprint. T-Mobile and Sprint considered merging 3 years ago, but regulators were opposed to the deal. Since then, T-Mobile is a bigger company than Sprint, measured by stock market value. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise is cutting 10% of its workforce, approximately 5,000 jobs. HPE is the business services half of Hewlett-Packard. Uber is being told it can't operate in London. The city's transport authority says Uber's license to operate will expire at the end of the month and it won't renew it. Uber can appeal and can continue to stay in business in London during the appeal process. The Dow closed down 53 yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Life should be an adventure, and so should your health. It's another can't-miss Health Quest radio show this Saturday morning. Dr. David Kolbaba.
You're eating too much food. You get it? We're eating too much food, and whether eating too much food causes kidney stones or diabetes or obesity, it don't matter. We're eating about 75% too much food because you're not moving your body. If you moved your body more, you could eat more, but you're not, so don't.
Create your adventure in health. Tune into Health Quest Radio every Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound I-80 is really heavy this morning from LaGrange Road to Harlem. Westbound 8094, it's slow. Broadway to Klein Avenue. Eden's 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 33 to Kennedy. 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 33 from Montrose. 30 in the Express. Outbound 34 minutes to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 10 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 55 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39 minutes. Ryan is 31 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes. I-80 to the Burridge. Bishop Ford, 35. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, still Belmont to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State delays. 95th to Ogden. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorials, though, from 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. The other tollways are good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
The heat wave will continue through Sunday. Today, mostly sunny, hot, and humid. High 94. Clear, very warm and humid tonight, low 71. Sunshine for tomorrow, humid still with a high 92. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 75. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So now that we have reports this week that Paul Manafort is going to be indicted, the D.C. press corps can resume their regularly scheduled Russian collusion propagandizing. And that's what they're doing on a lot of fronts. You've got the Manafort stories. You've got, you got Maxine Waters. I mean, you always have no justice, no peace, Maxine, and we always like to hear from her. This from an interview she gave at a convention or conference for the National Black Caucus Foundation. Maxine Waters, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't come here and tell me, Maxine, you keep on doing what you do. Maxine gonna keep on doing what you do, but when you gonna give me some support? How many of you in your organizations have said impeach 45? Oh no, don't understand well, they don't have what it takes. They don't have the laws yet. Impeachment is about whatever the Congress says it is. There is no law that dictates impeachment. What the Constitution says is high crimes and misdemeanors, and we define that.
All right, for a response to that foray on the law, we're pleased to be joined by not as accomplished a legal scholar as Maxine Waters, but somebody that is a practitioner of the law, was federal prosecutor, now a contributing editor at National Review Online. He's Andy McCarthy. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I feel like I can't imagine that Maxine actually read my book on this subject, but I pretty much agree with her.
Yeah,
She's gonna have a full report on your desk too.
She's not much of a reader, I don't think. But you pretty much agree with Maxine Waters. But I assume you're pretty much agreeing in a less celebratory fashion.
Well, I don't agree with her that Trump's done anything impeachable. But what I mean is that impeachment is a political remedy, not a legal one. And it's up to Congress to decide what high crimes and misdemeanors are. But you would think that Congress would do that against the framework of what the framers described high crimes and misdemeanors as, which are, as Hamilton put it, the offenses of public men. And what he meant by that were profound breaches of the public trust, dereliction of duty, conduct unbecoming, almost like a military justice concept. But the impeachment process is laid out in the Constitution, and it's really not regulable by the courts much, because it was meant by the framers as a congressional check on the presidency. And the genius of the framers is that while it only takes a majority of the House to file articles of impeachment, no president can be removed unless you get a two-thirds supermajority in the Senate trial. And what that means is that unless a president has done something that's so heinous that there's a consensus in the country that the president needs to be removed, that cuts across ideological and partisan lines, it'll never happen. And that's why it hasn't happened.
Right. So profound were the founders in their thinking that they predicted Maxine Waters, is what you're saying.
Yes, well, they were probably guarding against her, but yes, exactly.
All right. So in regards to Paul Manafort, what do you think he'll be indicted on? What do you think the charges will be?
Well, it's hard to tell now, because a lot of what they're doing is being done secretly, although the hardball stuff they're doing, like the way that they searched Manafort's house, is obviously something that they've been pretty public about, and I think that's the purpose of that, is to intimidate other witnesses and subjects, just like they were trying to intimidate Manafort. Amy, I feel safe saying this much. I think whatever Manafort is charged with, if he's charged, and I think that may be a bluff too, but we'll have to see. But I think whatever he's charged with will be some steps removed from what this was supposed to be all about in the beginning, which was complicity in what's said to be Russian espionage aimed at the 2016 election. I'd be very, very surprised if any charges come out of that.
What's the big story this week for you in this topic area? Assuming the reporting is accurate, just start from that assumption, kind of if the reporting is true. Is it the possibility of Manafort being indicted? Is it Manafort allegedly suggesting private briefings with a Russian aluminum magnate that was apparently allegedly connected to the Kremlin? Is it Facebook turning over $150,000 worth of Facebook ads that are allegedly linked to Russia? Or is it the reporting about the FISA warrants and the surveillance of Manafort, and then ultimately down the road, the second go-around, ostensibly the surveillance of Manafort that could have included both candidate Trump as well as other campaign associates?
Well, I think the last part, as far as the FISA stuff is concerned, I've been surprised a bit at what a big story it's been, and maybe it's because it fills in some details that we didn't have before. But you would think we had never heard this. And, you know, the New York Times was reporting that there were FISA warrants that involved Manafort and others, I think, as early as January. I started writing about it shortly after that. Now, you know, based on the CNN report, we know more specific detail about that than we did before. And, you know, at the time that Clapper, the National Intelligence Director, in March, after Trump did his famous tweets about Obama tapping his lines at Trump Tower, when Clapper gave what was pitched as a denial to Chuck Todd on NBC and the Sunday show, and everybody in the media then basically used that to whitewash what Trump had said and said, you know, that kind of stuff never happened. We now have somebody who was in the know who gave a categorical denial. I encourage people at the time to look carefully at what Clapper had said, because I thought it was a very carefully couched, narrow denial, not a sweeping denial, and that it didn't discount the possibility of what we now know actually happened, which was that there was Obama administration spying on Trump associates, some of whom were connected to the campaign. So a lot of this stuff, I think, we actually knew already, those of us who've been following the story closely. But Dan, I must say the thing that sticks out to me more than anything else is the comparison between the scorched earth approach that the Mueller investigation is taking to the Trump campaign versus what I think is the real collusion story of the 2016 election, which is the way that the Obama Justice Department and intelligence agencies, other components of the executive branch, were put in the service of Hillary Clinton's campaign. So on the one hand, you have Mueller, who's hired these 17 really alpha-type aggressive lawyers who are turning under every stone and using every hardball tactic in the book to squeeze a case out of something that doesn't look to me like a criminal offense, at least what they were originally brought in to investigate. And then you compare that to how the FBI and the Obama Justice Department went about the Clinton investigation, where they basically put blinders on every time they found mountainous evidence of criminal wrongdoing. And they went every step they could possibly go to close their eyes to what certainly looks like an offense that should have been charged. And I just think it's mind-boggling to compare the two things.
Well, I mean, this is the point that Holman Jenkins makes in the Wall Street Journal when he writes, now ask yourself, were the evolving claims about Russia's motives based on any more solid intelligence than were the Trump dossier or Russia's fake Loretta Lynch email? Or is the picture here of our intelligence officials serially grabbing after whatever floats them serves their immediate needs? He goes on to suggest what Daniel Greenfield has also suggested, that this started to ratchet up after Trump had a surprise victory, and Obama administration officials realized that perhaps their actions in the course of the 2016 cycle were going to receive more scrutiny than they ever conceived they would receive.
Well, look, I think there's a lot to the notion that these agencies ought to be pressed on what they did and what information they provided to courts in order to get surveillance on the opposition political party. I've said from the start that if they really, in good faith and hard evidence, not politicized supposition, thought that there was a Russian operation to compromise the American electoral process and Trump was in on it, or people in the Trump camp were in on it, I'd be the first person to say that absolutely is something that has to be investigated, even though it's explosive to investigate the political opposition. But if you're just exploiting your executive power to do investigations in the realm of national security and foreign intelligence as a pretext to do political spying, that's a major scandal. And it seems to me that if it's important to get to the bottom of whether there was Russian espionage and collusion, and certainly if there's any evidence of that, it is important to get to the bottom of it. It's also critically important to get to the bottom of whether we had political spying going on here.
So how do you interpret Chuck Grassley's letter to Christopher Wray, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley sending a letter to FBI Director Chris Wray asking if the Trump campaign was briefed about the possible Russian threat to give them a chance to take precautionary measures if this threat was so present?
I think that that's something that absolutely ought to be run down, and I also think, to the extent that the FBI and the Justice Department have stonewalled the congressional committees on the genesis and of this Trump dossier and what the FBI's relationship was with this Steele character, and the question whether, which is something I think is an important question to get to the bottom of now that we know about this FISA stuff, did the FBI use information that was in that dossier as part of what it presented to the FISA court to get permission to do surveillance on Manafort and these other guys? I think that's all critically important. And if I agree in principle with what I take to be Grassley's position, that it's not tolerable that the FBI and the Justice Department are not being forthcoming with information. And I frankly don't understand how it is that the FBI and the Justice Department, now under Trump's supervision, are withholding information from the Republican-controlled Congress, which is trying to get to the bottom of whether the Obama administration spied on the Trump campaign. I don't understand what's going on there.
He is Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor in Manhattan, now contributing editor at National Review. You can always check out his pieces. He's written extensively on this, including his piece, Paul Manafort is in Legal Jeopardy, that you'll want to read in detail. Andy McCarthy, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, Jimmy Kimmel had it all wrong, I think, when it came to his comments about Brian Kilmeade. We'll explain. But first, your forecast, hot and humid. It's just oppressive, that heat for your first day of fall. We're going to have a high of 94 degrees. The weekend looks pretty miserable. Hot and humid, a high of 92 on Saturday. And for the Bears-Steelers game, a high of 91 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy in Vernon Hills Town Line 60 is shut down between Milwaukee Avenue and Lakeview Parkway due to a crash. The Edens Expressway inbound just a little heavy approaching the junction. 20 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 27. Kennedy 52 minutes O'Hare to downtown outbound 36. The Eisenhower an hour and 10 minutes Thorndale to the post office. 55 minutes from Manheim outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour and 4 minutes 3:55 to the drive outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 31 minutes from 95th to downtown, southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Wilson to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State has delays, 95th to Ogden, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and Dempster to Lake Avenue. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Lake Street to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show each morning. Long-form interviews with opinion leaders against the current series. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segment, 60 seconds sanity commentaries from yours truly, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes. Podcast for Illinois Rising program airing Sundays at 3 p.m. on these airwaves, covering state policy and politics. Heart of the Matter, featuring women, professional women, speaking collegially about the salient issues of the day and their impacts on families. And our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, Homeowners Defense Association, defendhomeowners.com. Get a free report on the property taxes on your home, what you're paying, what the trajectory is, what it's doing to home value, what the opportunity cost is, what you'd be paying for a similarly priced home in a similarly situated community in neighboring states.
important stuff to understand about what property taxation is doing to the largest investment most of you make in your lives, your home, at defendhomeowners.com. And you can also access it through upstream-ideas.com. This is an important message for Chicagoland business owners. If you own or rent your building, chances are you're paying more than your fair share of property taxes. Ask yourself this question. If you could lower your property taxes with the help of licensed professionals who have an 80% average success rate, yes, you heard that right, an 80% success rate, lowering business owners' property taxes, would you do that? Corporate Valuation Advisors has reduced their clients' property taxes on average 20% over their 25-year service history throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Here's a Corporate Valuation Advisor's recent property tax savings success story from a local Chicago business owner. First-year property tax savings, $26,265. Total 4-year property tax savings of $104,679. Call Corporate Valuation Advisors. They can help at 833-FAIR-TAX. That's 833-FAIR-TAX. You can also find them at yourfairtax.com or by visiting am560theanswer.com and looking for the Corporate Valuation Advisors banner, or type in Fair Tax in the search area.
As the sounds of summer from your pool and spa wind down, All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living has some end-of-season specials they'd like to remind you about. New customers get $100 off their in-ground pool closing. And if you're already a customer, refer a friend to close their pool with All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living, and both of you get $100 off. Also, get end-of-season specials on new pool equipment installs. For a limited time, save 15% on new in-ground pool filters, salt chlorine generators, pool heaters, and more. And as a special bonus to save you even more money, in-ground pool variable speed pumps are 15% off, and ComEd customers receive a $300 ComEd rebate. Remember, it's never too late to start planning your backyard paradise for next season. All Seasons Pools and Spas begin from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction and hardscaping, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, pergolas, and more. For over 60 years, making a splash in your neighborhood. All Seasons Pools and Spas and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Text MONEY to 99,000. That's money to 99,000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Got to tell you, 3rd night in a row of Jimmy Kimmel talking about health care.
3 nights too many.
Yeah, honestly, it's getting really old. But on the 2nd night of Jimmy Kimmel, he ripped on Brian Kilmeade and said that he was a butt kisser. He called him a phony little creep. And
This is a Fox and Friends
co-host.
co-host.
Fox and Friends co-host, in case you don't know him. And Brian Kilmeade, he fought back, and he, I think, put Jimmy Kimmel in his place.
Last night, Jimmy Kimmel personally attacked me. What I do is I do this morning show, so I can't see it, but I got up and had a chance to look at the clip. And this is what I would like to say on this. Hope your son gets better. I hope your son gets all the care he needs. I'm glad you're interested. You're causing the dialogue. You're doing a great job bringing the dialogue out, but you should actually do what we're doing. Talk to the people that wrote it. Yeah, Senator Graham, Senator Cassidy, asking tough questions to Michael, and we'll see where we go from here. About me and you personally, yeah, I did this thing called Request an Interview for an up-and-coming talk show host who did a great job on Fox Sports. And even when you weren't getting great ratings, I thought you and the show was excellent. When I was at American Idol across the street at the finale, I walked over at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, and you were kind enough to give an interview to me. I thought the pieces went great. I didn't kiss your butt. I thought you did a good job, and I thought I'd highlight behind the scenes on an up-and-coming talk show. As you trying to get you to blurb the book, a little mistaken. I actually tried to get you in this book in 2003. It's How You Play the Game. The Games Do Count, 2 books back to back. I wanted to focus on people in sports and how it helped them later on in life. Got guys like The Rock to be in it, President Bush to be in it, Robin Williams to be in it. I wanted you to be in it. It didn't work out. I didn't think that was a negative. Continue to do a great job. Best of luck with your son.
I mean, he took the high road and just pointed out the obvious, and he held up the book that he wanted to feature him in. So, take that, Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Because he said also, too, like Jimmy Kimmel threatened physical violence, too, against him. Please.
Yeah, he's going to pound him next time
Yeah.
he sees him. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel.
Please.
I think he, pounds his double bacon cheeseburgers. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think Kilmeade won that fall.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Easily.
so.
Yep.
I think so.
The winner is. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Senator Pocahontas was born a poor Native American child.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
75 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Misery continues this morning for Mexico and Puerto Rico after devastating national disasters. In Mexico, search and rescue teams are trying to find survivors in the rubble of buildings destroyed by Tuesday's massive earthquake, the death toll at 280. Meantime, in Puerto Rico, 3.4 million are without power, could be without power for months in the wake of Hurricane Maria. North Korea's foreign minister is suggesting that the country could detonate a hydrogen bomb in the Pacific to try and counter the United States or its allies. The comments from the foreign minister came after leader Kim Jong-un said he's considering a strong response to President Trump's threats. Chicago continues to experience record-breaking hot weather. National Weather Service says yesterday the high temperature soared to 94. We could hit 93 today. Federal racketeering charges filed against 9 members of a Chicago street gang alleging they participated in a criminal organization that killed 6. Drew Peterson will likely appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court after his 2012 murder conviction was upheld by the Illinois Supreme Court yesterday. Northern Illinois University's acting president says she plans to request a 3% salary increase for university employees. Lisa Freeman plans to make that request to the university's board at a meeting in October. Chris Bryant's 2-run home run in the top of the 10th gave the Cubs a 5-3 win over the Brewers in Milwaukee. White Sox 3-1 winners over the Astros. The Blackhawks blast the Red Wings 6-1 in a preseason affair. And the Steelers getting set to roll into Chicago to battle the Bears on Sunday. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts for more than 90 years. Napa Auto Parts has provided the quality parts and expertise to help keep almost anything on the road. And now with Napa Rewards, you can save money on all the parts you need to keep your car running. Quality parts. Helpful people, that's Napa know-how. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm lugging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Vestuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:35, and an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, it's heavy Elston to Montrose, 20 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 24. The Kennedy, 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 36 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 9 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 53 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 41 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 52 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. The Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes. I-80 to the Merge Vision Ford, 35. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Wilson to North Avenue. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 87th to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and Dempster to Lake Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, still heavy, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are good. Eastbound I-80, stop and go LaGrange Road to Harlem. Westbound 8094, slow Broadway decline. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Mostly sunny, possible record-breaking heat and humidity with a high of 94. Clear, warm, and humid. 71 overnight. Currently 76. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Mel Brooks, across the pond in England, he gave an interview to the BBC.
Bye-bye-say.
And it's similar to what he's done at a number of events, including one I went to the Chicago Theater, where he does a screening of Blazing Saddles. Then he comes out and takes questions from the audience and just tells stories for about an hour. I mean, he at 90 plus years old, he's like incredibly sharp, still really funny. It was such a fun event that he put on. But he talks about politically correct society being the death of comedy. He says comedy is the lecherous little elf whispering in the king's ear, always telling the truth about human behavior. You know, like William J. Lepedimane.
We've got to protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something about this immediately. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy. Just a governor harumph. Harumph?
Yeah. Yeah.
We just play that for the next half hour.
And so, now the flip side is he's right about PC and everybody's delicate sensibilities being the death of comedy. But a lot of the comedy is unintentional these days in politics. Enter Senator Pocahontas or Crocodile. Either are acceptable. Elizabeth Warren, she was cornered in the hallway of a radio station in Boston, WRKO, when she was there for an interview. One of the hosts there, Jeff Cooner, wanted to ask Elizabeth Warren a question about railing against the 1%, yet being a member of the 1%. And here's how that went down.
I ask you one quick question. You often say,
And I agree with you that the 99% are getting shafted by the 1%.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. A lot of people, especially my listeners, say you live in Cambridge, you got a $2 million mansion, plus you're a multi-millionaire yourself. How can you rail against the 1% when in a sense you are and live like the 1%?
So let me make clear, I wasn't born in Cambridge. I was born into a family where my daddy had one job after another. He ended up as a janitor. My mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. All three of my brothers went into the military. That was their ticket to try to make it into the middle class. For me, I wanted to be a public school teacher. There was not even enough money for an application to college, much less to be able to pay for college. Long and twisted story, I got married early.
And
but
you
I
made
ended
millions
up,
of dollars, correct?
hold on, no, I ended up graduating, hold on. I
And
ended
you
up
live in a mansion in
graduating.
Cambridge, do you not?
I ended up graduating from a commuter college that cost $50 a semester. And I became a special needs teacher. And when I had a baby and started going to school part-time at a state law school that cost $450 a semester, that's how I had opportunity. And I am deeply grateful to an America that made those opportunities possible.
I know.
Those opportunities.
But you are part of the 1%.
Those opportunities are not available in America today.
But you are
I
a multimillionaire and you
had-
have a
I
mansion in
had-
Cambridge, do you not?
I
It's worth
had-
north of $2 million.
I had opportunities because America invested in kids like me, and that's the reason I'm in public office. Is so I can make sure
No,
that
I
the
know,
next kid
but
and
you're
the
part
next
of the
kid-
1%,
What I
and
am
you
is
rail
I'm
against
part-
the 1%.
I
You
am
don't see the hypocrisy there?
It's not hypocrisy.
You're a
What this is-
multimillionaire.
What this is about is whether you believe in opportunity or not. I believe in opportunity, and it's what I fight
You mean
for.
the $350,000 for one course? Is that the opportunity, Senator?
Zing!
Checkmate.
Yeah, so here's the thing about that. I'll take your calls 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. You know who else invested in her? Big banks, big law firms. Her net worth, according to her Senate financial disclosure reports, is it's a range that you get between $3.7 and $10 million. And it's because of the sinecure that was alluded to at Harvard, where she was a minority, a member of the Minority Faculty Association, because, of course, being 132nd Native American. And then also working as a consultant for big insurance companies and big banks. Travelers Insurance paid her $212,000 between the years 2008 and 2010. She did consulting work for a blue chip law firm, Wilmer Cutler Pickering Hale, that represents Citigroup, J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs. You know, all the institutions that she rails against now as a demagogic politician. But it's a little bit of the, my daddy is a janitor stuff. Okay, fine. And it's a little bit of America investing in me. Well, no, because she has to continue the line of you didn't build that, you didn't earn that, because now she's a socialist as a senator.
Right.
Right. And it's just interesting to me, the benefits or the lessons that were not taken from the benefits that she's enjoyed, both the opportunities and how she's consummated those opportunities.
It's just weird because they vilify the rich, but they are rich.
Well, right.
And that's where it's so hypocritical and just not genuine.
Well, and here's the thing, too. She won't concede that she's a 1%er, right? Mm-hmm. No matter how she's pressed by that talk show host. But in addition to that, the way she demagogues the rich and categorizes people by their household income for a particular year or the net worth that they've amassed, the wealth they've amassed, nobody else has the story she has. She's the only one who worked hard and made it in America, right? So everybody else can be cheaply dismissed as just their household income or net worth, and they're the bad people, the 99% versus the 1%. We can just put them in that camp. But me, no, I'm different because I have a story. I had human parents, and they weren't multimillionaires. Gosh, that's a story that's never been told in America except every day with millions of people. And so I juxtapose this against the 100th anniversary of Forbes magazine this week and a New York Sun editorial that has a great point about Malcolm Forbes, and the Forbes 400 list that he introduced, and it now has become kind of an American staple, an institution, if you will. New York Sun writes, Malcolm Forbes plunged ahead when people said you can't publish the Forbes 400 list, it'll inspire thieves and kidnappers. Forbes invested enormous amounts of money reporting the list each year in time. Soon became an American institution inspiring millions. For it turns out that Americans don't resent successful businessmen and women. They admire them. They too want to be rich. A failure to appreciate this is, in our opinion, one of the blunders that caused Hillary Clinton to underestimate Donald Trump. Democrats just couldn't see that one reason huge crowds thronged to airport hangars to see Mr. Trump pull up in his gilded jetliner is that millions admire his success. They want to be like him. The Forbes 400 list shows some of them they can, and people come on the list, they drop off the list. That's the nature of a economically mobile society, which we have. And it runs counter to Elizabeth Warren's takeaway from her personal story in terms of the public politics that she practices. George in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, this is so ridiculous. I have to actually become one of the 1%ers to rail against the 1%ers. And where was it in the Democratic playbook that the trick to getting ahead is to say, listen to me, my daddy was poor.
Yeah, right.
That's like going to a batting coach and saying, you know what, my dad never even swung a bat, but here's like, listen to me.
Well, yeah, thanks for the call. I like the analogy. The thing about that whole, and Republicans fall into that trap. You know who fell into that trap?
Who?
Mitt Romney.
Oh.
He was terrible about that. Rather than just saying, maybe you don't have to go all the way to the Trump example of waving your tax returns around at the press conference announcing your candidacy. That's a little much for me. But, I mean, being proud of the success, if it was hard-fought and earned, and the benefits that you derive from that success, and say, hey, the point is to say, I want you to have the same opportunities I have. I want you to have a path to enjoy the benefits I have. That's the whole point, right? But Elizabeth Warren says, no, you have to, wait until government invests in you and we as a village build it together. This kind of, socialist utopian silliness that runs counter to her own story. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Uh-oh.
Well, first of all, she left out that she made nearly $2 million flipping real estate in 2007 to 2009. That's kind of her life story is a testimony to capitalism. Her mother with the minimum wage. I mean, listen to her story, and it sounds like the beginning of every Why We Should Be Capitalist book. And it's the same thing with Durbin. This is what the kind of question. This is important. What this guy did. Dick Durbin has a stock portfolio worth millions. Now, granted, it's inside information and his wife's a lobbyist, but he still made a fortune in capitalism. So this is what you have to do when you're being sold this totalitarian utopia by the people who want to run it. Elizabeth Warren wouldn't be promoting socialism if she didn't want to run it. Just like every other one of these low-life scumbags. And another thing, before I go, the not-so-funny Jimmy Kimmel, who peaked early with girls on trampolines. It's been downhill since then.
Sure.
He's worth $35 million. Pay your own bill, bum. You want the poor people to pay out. See, it's important we talk about what insurance is. It's a scam of the poor and the healthy paying for the rich and the not-so-healthy. Expose it all and tear it down. Burn your insurance card. That's the only way we're going to repeal anything.
All right.
It's run on a fraud.
All right. Thanks for the call, Sean. Oh, boy. Ralph in Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. I do not think that Elizabeth Warren wants other people to have what she now has. And I believe the difference is this. People like Donald Trump, who, he started with a little, and he built it into a huge amount. Actually, he started with a lot.
Yeah, he started with a lot.
Bigger.
Yeah.
But the difference is that he said, you know what? You can do this. He holds up capitalism and opportunities as examples of what we are and what we present, not as faults to be railed against. I think Elizabeth Warren and other people like her in her camp, they believe that the material possessions somehow, that there's this finite pie. She's got her slice, and she doesn't want you to know how much she has, or that perhaps you could have a piece of that pie too. Why? Because there's only so much pie. And the real capitalist says, you know what? We make more pies.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
not a
capitalism
zero-sum
is all
game.
about.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a zero-sum
Exactly.
game. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Exactly. Scott on the west side.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. And also the difference between a rich liberal and people aspiring to be rich or rich conservatives are the liberals believe that the reason that they became rich and seized opportunities is because that they're ultra intelligent, that they're smarter than everybody else, and they don't think that other people are as smart as them and have the same capability of being able to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks, Scott. I mean, right? Why can't somebody else's kid whose daddy was a janitor in that weird twang
No,
that
she
she's
just
got?
went twangy on.
Yeah.
My daddy was a janitor.
Yeah, well, she's
Now
not-
she's Southern.
She's like a coal miner's daughter. I mean, yeah. And then she puts on her
It was
headdress.
fun.
Dawn in Plainfield.
Don't make me do it because I want to go like this.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Did she say she was a special education teacher?
Yeah, she was actually.
I have twins in special education. Let me tell you, her policies destroy special education, like amnesty, like killing businesses with taxes. Why? Because it takes away money from the schools. It takes money, instead of the money going where it should go, it goes in other places. So her policies destroy special education.
Thanks for the call, Dawn. Lee in Hammond.
Yeah, hi. You know, this phony Elizabeth Warren, why is it she never gave Obama any pushback for making a Wall Street attorney like Eric Holder Attorney General? And why is it that she never really railed against Obama for not putting one Wall Street banker in jail after the 2008 financial crash?
Yes, good questions, Lee. Thanks for the call.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of heat and humidity and sunshine for the next 4 days. We'll be breaking some records. 94 degrees today on the first day of fall. Saturday, 92. And on Sunday for the Bears-Steelers game and the Chicago Half Marathon, it's going to be a hot one. High humidity and a high of 91 degrees. Into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center we go. Here's the boss, Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Your traffic around that half marathon, Bears Sunday, will be sticky as well. Prepare ahead. Right now, the Kennedy inbound. You got delays starting at Central. Your travel time, 54 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 41 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound, 26 minutes to O'Hare from downtown. Edens is 20 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 24. Inbound Eisenhower. An hour, Thorndale to downtown, 44 minutes from Manheim, outbound 41 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 29 minutes from 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, delays are from Wilson to North Avenue. Northbound, it's okay. Northbound Tri-State heavy, 87th, 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and very slow, Dempster to Lake Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial still sluggish, 75th to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are fine. Eastbound I-80 got delays from LaGrange Road to Harlem. Northwest Indiana's good. I'm Jim Talamonte. The Alarm Detection System Traffic Center.
With Continental Audi of Naperville, you get a different kind of buying experience. Straight talk and no hassle. Plus, Continental Audi has a huge selection of Audis to choose from. And for a limited time, lease a 2017 Audi A4 Premium for $399 a month. The Audi A4 is one of the best in its class. Or lease a 2018 Audi A6 for $579 a month. Plus, Continental has a test track to get in and really drive. Drive an Audi and feel the difference. Drive an Audi from Continental and experience the difference in an exceptional dealer. ContinentalAudi.com or Continental Audi in Naperville on Aurora Avenue at Ogden Avenue. Going beyond the sale. Experience the Continental Audi difference, where smiles are standard equipment. ContinentalAudi.com. 36-month lease, A4 4114 due, A6 4694 due. Outstanding plus tax, title, license, and acquisition fee extra must qualify through Audi Financial Services. See dealer for details.
chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain, and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing: steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus Procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus Procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
In this tight labor market, finding new employees can be tough. Whether you're the business owner or an HR professional, you want access to highly qualified candidates fast. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, no matter the industry, with Indeed you get immediate access to a high-quality pool of talent with no long-term contracts or upfront fees. For a limited time, Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to make their first job listing a sponsored job with premium visibility so more candidates will see it. You want to make a great hire fast, and this exclusive offer gives you a head start. Independent research shows 6 times more hires are delivered through Indeed than any other job site, making Indeed your one-stop source for hiring. To redeem this offer, go to Indeed.com/offer. That's Indeed.com/offer. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 75 years old, and I don't eat enough vegetables or fruit. And this is a great thing to do. And it seems that I have more energy. It seems that I take that, and I take a lot of blood pressure pills and what do you call it, cholesterol. But my doctor tells me, he said, no, you might cut the dosage down on your pills because what are you taking? I said, Balance of Nature. He said he didn't know what it was, so I told him, I said it's fruits and vegetables condensed into little pill form. He goes, well, whatever it is, it's doing you a lot of good.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful